What is up, everybody? Welcome to number 21 of the Casual Observers. This podcast is old enough to drink now, fellas. As you can see, we're in a different angle because we have an additional person, but we'll get to that later. Our topic right now is mental disorders, and I have with me Josiah Sandu.
Hey, I'm here. No fun anecdote this week, though.
No
I didn't see
fun
Avengers. I saw Avengers, and I got a free poster, and I saw it twice.
Poster's right here. You can't
Avengers
see it, though?
2, stick around to the end, because we know that's what you really want to hear about.
That's true. Spoiler alert, there's like a whole nother movie at the end. Alright. Wait, you're not eating anything this week.
I got coffee over here.
You got coffee? Okay. What kind of coffee is that?
I actually didn't have any creamer, so I just had to use Cool Whip.
Cool
whipped
Whip?
cream?
Oh,
Whipped
no,
cream.
Cool Whip?
Not this argument.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
Yes.
Okay. What's the difference between Cool Whip and whipped cream?
Cool Whip is the brand. Whipped cream is the generic term for it.
Okay. So, this guy, actually, can we say your full name on air?
Yeah.
Is that allowed? Okay. This is Austin Minyard. He's going to be our expert today because he has a little brother or something, and he plays WoW. So, introduce yourself, Austin. Who are you?
How you just said. My name's Austin, and I've been friends with Jacob for a few years. I don't know Josiah, but seems like a pretty cool guy. He invited me in his house to be on this episode, and
That is pretty cool.
He called me up and asked me to be on this episode to talk about mental illnesses. Originally about self-diagnosis and mental issues, but now we've expanded it to just mental disorders and issues in general.
Yeah, see, originally he had the idea to talk about self-diagnosis, and that's why I brought him on, because I was like, it was his idea. He probably has a lot to say about it, so I think it would all work out if he was just on the episode. Plus, we've been trying to get guests on anyways, but it never worked out. So, yeah, that happened. Alright, you guys just want to jump into this?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, Josiah, can you give me a definition of mental illness?
Yes. I could. Yes, I could.
What is it, Josiah?
Oh.
I'm not going to turn and look at you like this because then I'm turning my back to the camera, so I'm just going to look at you from the camera.
Ugh.
I'd probably do the same if I had my glasses, but I can't even see.
Yeah,
it was very scary driving over here.
I just see shapes and stuff generally.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see my face. It's all white because the lights are too bright. Alright, Josiah, give me a definition of
okay, mental illness refers to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorders that affect your mood, thinking, behavior. Examples of illness include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, eating disorders, addictive behaviors. Basically, anything that's harmful to you.
Anything that's harmful to you is a disorder?
Any habitual behavior that's harmful to you, kind of. Yeah.
Habitual, what do you mean by that?
Like,
it affects your habits and
it's
it
compulsive.
affects
You know, like you're compulsed to do it.
Would you say it's obsessive compulsive?
I wouldn't go,
if you're talking about that one.
I think that's a specific thing.
Actually, when it comes to obsessive compulsive disorder, it actually is two separate things. It's obsession and compulsion. But most people think it's just like one thing together. Anyways, okay, so with mental illnesses, obviously everyone's seen mentally ill people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Beautiful Mind. Mel Gibson's got a mental disorder.
That's true.
The military.
I have the military. But in
PTSD,
school,
that is a mental disorder.
Is it though?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Okay, all right. I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay. So, first of all,
yes.
The term mental disorder is something I want to talk about. I've brought this up before, but not on the show, so we're going to talk about it. Why is it called disorder? Like, I guess it implies that there's something considered wrong with the brain there, right?
Yeah.
They're saying, okay, this person has something wrong with them mentally. But...
out of order.
Yeah, I was about to say, out of order, like a Coke machine. It's in disorder.
I'm explaining it for the audience. Come on. Come on, guys. But, so yeah, you're saying it's out of order, right?
Right.
But it's not as simple as a Coke machine. I like that analogy with a Coke machine. It's not as simple. See, a brain, we can't look at a brain and say, this brain is functioning 100% correctly because we have a standard of how it's supposed to function. With a Coke machine, it's like, we created the Coke machine, this is how the Coke machine is supposed to function. But with a brain, we didn't create it. We just have like a stereotype of what we think it should be. We're like, well, I'm pretty smart, I'm pretty reasonable, so these other people's brains should be similar to mine or similar to how other people work, when we didn't actually create it, right?
Well, you kind of got like, you sort of have a template for how your brain should work in terms of like, you know, like evolutionary...
or chemical makeup of different imbalances of chemicals that should be in your brain. Like if you have too high of levels or too low of levels of dopamine or serotonin or something that should be in your brain that would cause and affect for you to have a mental disorder. You can tell that way from, you know, tests, like medically, but...
Yeah, but even that is like, well, most people are within this range.
Right.
But yeah, that's like, why. I guess we get our template of what the brain's supposed to be by averages.
Yeah. You're just taking the average for the chemicals and stuff. What were you saying before?
I was saying, like, you kind of have a template in that, like, we know where certain behaviors come from, like, because of, like, an evolutionary... Like, certain things, certain behaviors are just, like, evolutionary beneficial to the survival of the species. So, like, whenever you see somebody doing something like, I don't know, cutting themselves, you know, you could be like, well, that's obviously out of order in terms of, like, the way our brains develop. You know, see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean...
Like, you can kind of...
Right,
That's how you can kind of gauge, like, whether the behavior is, you know...
There are definitely, like, evolutionary aspects of it, and even just, like, the physical stuff, like, okay, you could clearly say, okay, this person has a mental disorder if, like, they can't move one of their arms or something. That's a physical manifestation of it. But, like, with cutting yourself, like, while we have there's a negative stigma with it, in general, like, you're not actually harming... You're not actually harming your life. Okay, yeah, it's literally by definition you're harming yourself.
Yeah.
But you're not like reducing your ability to reproduce or live longer unless you're like, you know, unless you're like really digging down to the vein, like trying to bleed out. You know, just like getting a scratch or something isn't hindering.
It's also it also kind of defines that into separate categories. There's self-harm that you would be conflicting self-harm for like attention purposes, like the people that would just like slightly cut their wrists or cut on their legs because, you know, in relation to they have depression or, you know, they just really need attention or something.
Or they like the feeling because...
Yeah, or they like the feeling because...
Harming yourself releases certain chemicals.
Or you have people that have so bad of a depression or something psychological that makes them want to hurt themselves that they just, you know, get so fed up, pull out a knife, instead of going across, they just go straight down, and then they bleed out and die.
Yeah, you go down the street, not across, kids, right?
If you really want to.
Oh, that's nothing to laugh at, but yeah, it's it clearly defines how you can tell if someone's just really just egging for attention, like, oh, I cut in these noticeable places so people at school can subtly but not so really see and come up to me and ask me if I'm sad or what's wrong with me. But if you see someone that's got like cuts, like scars on their arms, like, whoa, you know, that person needs some help.
By the way, we're not making fun of anybody who does this. If you do this, you can just watch this episode. Yeah, just don't. No, I mean, okay. Austin brought up some good points, and you did too. With like, okay, one, they could be doing it for attention. One, they could be doing it for physical pleasure if it releases a chemical in the brain to make them feel good.
Three,
the other
3 ones.
It's true. And another one, the third one, could be like, if someone has like really, really low self-esteem or something and they just like hate themselves, right? You know, it could make them feel better if they like hate themselves, right? By destroying the thing that they hate or something, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Too deep.
Too deep for me.
But I think in all 3 of those cases...
In all 3 ones of those cases.
Yeah. Would you say they all have a disorder?
No, what I'm saying is actually...
Are you saying that maybe they don't?
I'm saying with all 3 of those, like... I mean, okay, it's actually orderly for you to want attention and to be loved. It's orderly to want to feel good, like, it makes sense that you would want your body to feel good, and it's orderly for you to like not. It would be more beneficial for you to, for example, cut yourself if you have very low self-esteem, than to straight up just kill yourself, evolutionary-wise, because you would actually, you know.
Yeah.
So if cutting yourself to make you feel better if you have low self-esteem to keep yourself living, evolutionary, that's actually pretty orderly.
But whatever your goal is, you can accomplish that without harming yourself.
I have to say, with what you brought up, these people do these things because it makes sense to them. I guess.
I'm sure it does make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to them. But what I'm trying to say is, it's the way we would classify them doing that as a disorder is because they're doing, like for example, you said someone cuts themselves because it feels if it feels good to them, and naturally they want to feel good. They're just not doing it the best possible route of making yourself feel good. It's like, yes, you can do that because it makes
there's other ways.
But there's other things you
without
can do.
harming yourself.
Okay, yeah, but if
Like
you
maybe get some ice cream. Get fat.
that's where I'm going with this actually. What about the people like, okay, it's orderly for you to feel good. Well, guess what? It's also orderly to eat and sustain your body.
Mm-hmm.
So what about the people who eat unhealthy and just eat a bunch of sugar? They're not doing the orderly manner or the orderly
They must have a mental disorder.
way, and they might. Like,
actually, yeah.
According to what you guys are saying.
It's possible if you don't eat if you eat a really unhealthy diet as a child, your brain can get out of whack. You can be depressed if you're not eating those foods and stuff like that.
Well, right, because like what is it, like vitamin D or whatever? Generally, if a lack of it makes you depressed, right? That's why people in like Seattle and stuff kill themselves.
Oh yeah, because there's no sunlight to.
Rip in peace, Kurt.
Or night shift workers, like Cole used to be.
Hey, no name dropping on the show.
Only famous people.
Yeah, only famous people.
Robert Downey Jr. He was a drug addict.
Walter White. Whoa, did you see? I know you saw that interview where
he walks out.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm out of
here.
here.
Two Diane Sawyer.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
That's a real.
But what I'm saying is like, you said maybe they have a mental disorder if they're eating unhealthy, and that's like exactly what I'm arguing, where we classify all these things with mental disorders where like it might not necessarily be an actual like chemical imbalance or something.
It probably is.
Like wanting attention, cutting yourself because you want attention is not a chemical imbalance. There's nothing like physically wrong with your brain there, I don't think. It's just daddy didn't love me, mommy didn't love me, and I've never had a significant other, so I'm going to go cut myself and maybe people will talk to me in high school, right?
Well, yeah, but so like, you know how some mental disorders make you socially inept or something? You know? Like it's harder to socialize?
Like Asperger's or autism.
Yes, yeah.
Well, because you can get attention via socializing, but if you don't know how to socialize, then you could feel like that's the only way. You know what I mean?
I mean...
You see what I'm saying?
And that's where some people...
That could, self-harm could be like an extension of another disorder. Like maybe you don't actually want to cut yourself, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And harm yourself. But like, it's a manifestation of your actual mental disorder, which is social anxiety or something like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To where you can't get attention any other way because you don't know how. Because of some maybe you're slightly autistic or something, whatever. See what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, yeah. But
so maybe the cutting isn't the actual disorder.
Yeah, I will say it's like a symptom.
Yeah.
Yeah, of the root mental disorder that has these different side effects of what it causes you to do those.
Yeah, so what do you think of that, Jacob?
Well, we've talked about on another episode, I think it was our social episode, we talked about introverts and extroverts. And, I mean, sometimes really introverted people, like, while they don't necessarily want to hang out with friends and, like, they don't necessarily want a lot of attention, I think it's orderly for your brain to want attention on some level. And if someone's extremely introverted and they haven't gone out of their way to find friends or something, then they could go through that whole thing of like, oh, I don't have friends, no one's giving me attention, I cut myself to get attention. They could go through that whole cycle, and then we go back to the root, and we're like, okay, this person's introverted was their root cause. Is being introverted a mental disorder? And that's where you have to decide, like,
probably.
what are we... It's not though. We already
Yeah,
we already talked about this.
I don't think being an introvert's a mental disorder.
It's not.
More of just like a.
I mean, no, that's not the disorder, but like if you don't want to socialize, you don't have the desire, or you feel like you can't, then that's definitely.
Then you probably have autism.
Well,
no.
Seriously speaking, though, my ex-girlfriend, no name dropping, her older.
You can drop names if it's
Brian.
related to you.
Well, it's her older brother. They didn't even know he had autism until he was about to graduate high school. They just assumed, oh, that's just how he is. He doesn't have friends. He doesn't talk to people. But then I guess they took him to a doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, your son has autism, and he has had it for his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, well, that explains everything. But, I mean, in my experience of knowing him, he would do those things that kind of, like, were the tells. Like, he was always in his room. He was always playing on his computer. He would talk to you if you wouldn't talk to him, but he's not going to go out of his way to start a conversation with you. And
did he cut himself?
No, he never did anything like that.
Well, he was unrelated, Josiah.
Well, he did have friends though, because he had friends that would come over and they'd play tabletop games and stuff and whatever, and they
Sounds like my kind of friend.
or because he had friends because he was always playing online games and stuff. But like some certain things, like he used to pace all the time around the house. Like at certain times of the day, or after some like a stressful event, or what he would deem as stressful. Like if he had to go on a phone call and he was talking to somebody on the phone, he'd be fine while talking on the phone. And then afterwards, he would just go into his room, put on his iPod headphones, and he would just walk up and down the hallway for like 45 minutes
to decompress from
to just like
social tension.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't like social tension, but like he was just talking on the phone. Or if he has to go to the grocery store or something like that.
Oh,
But
like
that's also just like kind of extreme introversion. Like introverts like.
Maybe that's a mental disorder.
Well, being introverted?
Extreme.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so. I think we
Could
talked
be.
about this in the social episode, and I guess we can bring it up again, where how, like, having friends and stuff is beneficial but not necessary. And so, is it actually a disorder for people to be introverted? And it's
Yeah, I
like,
think so.
no, like, evolutionary
Well,
wise,
think about this.
they're fine.
Are you at risk of any physical harm by talking to somebody on the phone? No.
I mean,
No, you're not. It's
you're
only,
at risk of, like, emotional harm or
yeah,
something.
exactly. But because you're not at risk for any physical harm, so there's no actual reason to
Well,
to be a.
unless we're in the 50s and we're like,
Yes, the
talking on phones will give you like this,
Radiation.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, if talking to somebody on the phone is a source of anxiety for you,
Mm-hmm.
then something's not right because you don't actually have,
yeah.
you don't have any reason to be like in fear.
I mean, you don't have any reason to be in like fear of physical pain, and
Right.
that's probably has to do with like how we've evolved over the years of like, because we are less and less in like danger, like physical danger.
Yeah,
than we
like
were
our
like
fight or flight instinct has been transferred to like social anxiety and stress and stuff.
Right, yeah, emotional pain and stuff is like relevant to us for now when it didn't used to be, because it probably like.
We're talking about like thousands of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
hunter,
10,
Well,
like
I'd say
tens
like-
of-
gatherer.
I'd say like hundreds of years ago too. I mean, like back in like the 1700s or something like that. It's like you didn't like.
No, dude,
Maybe there were
because think
artistic
about like
people.
Romeo and Juliet and stuff. Like there
Oh,
was
yeah.
emotional pain like hundreds of years ago. We're talking like thousands and thousands of years
like
ago.
hunter gatherer, like early speech
Yeah,
development.
like year one or something. It's like, you know.
Because they didn't have like English language at that time. So
Yeah,
they,
like-
or they didn't have anybody really to communicate with.
like grunts and yells.
So they were just kind of
But,
like,
I
I'm
mean-
sad I couldn't hunt saber-tooth today.
You know, social anxiety probably
Was prevalent.
first developed whenever we developed speech.
Ooh.
Well,
Probably.
no, I was actually just gonna bring this up. Like we see this in animals, don't we? Where like animals, like if one animal's like not accepted in a group or something, you can see animals like being sad or something. Or if like like when one of my dogs died, like you could tell that one of my other dogs was like really depressed for a
Mhm.
while. Like they have emotional pain
You can
too.
tell.
Yeah. And
you
I'm a
can- You
person-
can see it in their face.
I'm
you
a
can see their
person
attitude.
who doesn't even like animals and doesn't care about animals at all. So if I'm saying that,
But you sympathize with them.
no.
Well, yeah, because you can feel. Or,
Well, I mean, I sort of do. I was
Empathize
like,
with
hey,
them?
dog, have some cheese because I know you're sad. Comfort food.
wow, dude, they're gonna be that dog is constipated. You just added to his depression. It's like, oh man, my friend died and I can't poo. This sucks. My life sucks right now.
I don't think the dog has that ability to process that.
Well, he knows when he's constipated, I'll tell you that right now. They know. They know when they want to go and they can't.
Okay. Alright,
Let's do an episode on that.
This is a PG show. It's disgusting. But introversion in itself is not a mental disorder, right?
I think it is, yeah.
My argument here is that in today's society, we're classifying things as mental disorders when I'm saying they necessarily shouldn't be. And when we talk about introverted people, in today's society, most people would say, no, being introverted is not a mental disorder. I said most, you don't count. You're literally the only person on the planet who I've ever said that being introverted is a mental disorder.
Wait, what? Say that again?
You are literally the only person on the planet who I've heard say being introverted is a mental disorder.
Okay, well, you should talk to more people about it. Because it's clearly...
I can't, dude. I'm introverted.
I was about to make that joke.
Well, first of all, being an introvert... I mean, you consider yourself an introvert.
Not anymore, no.
Oh, okay. Well...
I was going to bring that up, too. I was
okay,
like, you used to, like... not talk to that much people.
Yeah.
Only your like very close circle.
Yeah, I used to be very heavily introverted though. So what were you gonna say? You want to talk to an introvert? I'll revert back to my 13-year-old self here.
No, what I'm saying.
I'm wearing a Demon Hunter shirt. I'm basically my 13-year-old
self.
self.
If maybe you don't want to talk to anybody, and people consider you an introvert, but you're fine. Like you're happy, just like being in your own space or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
that
you don't cut yourself, and you're totally cool with that.
Right, and that happens. Right.
And that happens. Yeah, sure.
Most people, I would say, are like that. Actually, most introverts are probably pretty happy.
I would say they're not. I'd say most introverts probably want to socialize, but they feel like they don't have the skills, or they're scared of being rejected or whatever.
Haven't you ever been on the internet?
Nope, never been on the internet.
Never been on Tumblr. People were like, "Oh God, why is social anxiety so hard? I wish I could just talk to people."
Okay, but
yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I see that a lot. Like a lot of my Facebook friends, like you always read their statuses, and they're always talking about how like sad they are. They're like, "Man, my social anxiety is totally crippling me today." And I'm just like,
yeah.
And I totally get that, and I sympathize with that because I mean, I can't just start conversations with random people, you know. So I mean, I get that because I'm still probably partially.
I can.
No, I don't.
Oh.
Like with friends and stuff, I do. But like, think about like at church or something. Like, a large percentage of the people at church are not fond of me
that's
because
just because you don't have any interest in talking to anybody there.
Right, and I've talked about that before. Is how if I don't have interest in talking to you, I'm just not going to.
What if you're at like a really cool hip place, like a concert?
No, I'm not going to talk to those people.
There's lots of really cool hip people that you want to talk to.
No, literally with those people, I will say nice shirt, and that's about it.
Yeah, I can,
like if they're wearing an X-Tol shirt or something.
But do you want to though?
Do I want to say nice shirt?
What I'm saying is...
yeah, I want to brighten that person's day by being like, nigga, I like X-Tol too. That's our one nigga for the episode, by the way. No one
You just said it twice.
Uh-oh.
Now you can't say it next episode.
Turn off the camera, we're gonna reset.
No, but like I'm just saying, like the people that you want to talk to, you ended up doing it.
No, did I?
Talking to. I mean, all you did was go up and say like one thing.
What do you mean? Like,
I don't know, where'd you meet this guy at?
A friend. He was a friend of a friend.
Yeah, do you end up talking to him?
I mean,
obviously, because you're friends now.
He talks a lot, so I mean, like he.
Well, listening
kind of made him.
He's the extra. Listening is, and I am a great listener, but I'm not a great speaker.
So you communicated with somebody that...
Not really, because if I could listen to someone speak for like an hour and a half, and they would be like, "Are you even listening to me?" They wouldn't even know that I'm communicating to them by listening if I don't actually reply. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But they would whenever you recall everything that they said to you, because you were listening so intently, because you're a good listener.
Well, yeah, but I'm not actually communicating during the time that I'm just listening.
All I'm saying is,
like I'm not translating ideas from one brain to the other if I'm listening.
Okay, all I'm saying is, if you really want to talk to somebody,
they're communicating with me, but are they really saying anything? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you like 3 times. Go ahead.
You wanted to talk. You ended up talking to the people that you wanted to. So.
I mean. I guess, but only like in really extreme cases, right?
I don't know, define extreme.
Like, I wouldn't go up and talk to basically anyone unless I had a reason to talk to them. Like, okay, bands is a perfect example for me. Like, I'm not going to talk to anyone, but if it's like a person in a band and I'm just
check
like,
out that gear.
and I really love the band, yeah, I'm gonna go up and be like, bro, I love your music, I love all your albums, I'm wearing your
'cause
shirt, and
you're actually interested in those people. That's what.
that's true.
I'd say that's
So you
normal
have
though.
the-
Like if I'm anywhere, like okay, let's say like for today, before I came over here, I went to Whataburger, right? Of course, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna talk to the cashier because I have to. I have to order my friggin' food. All right.
Okay, I got a good example here.
So okay,
Go ahead.
now two. I go over there and I sit down. Now I'm gonna go sit. You know, or regular people are. They're gonna go sit by themselves if they're by themselves.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go plop right down next to the dude that's eating his food over there
Well,
already
that's-
and sit down and be like,
That's because
"What's
that
up?"
might
Was
be
he by
considered
himself?
rude.
He's probably by himself.
Okay, you.
And then we
Hey,
said
is
that's
any
rude,
of this
right?
taken?
Now,
It could be considered rude.
Okay,
it's not
now-
necessarily. Some people
well,
might want
yeah.
the attention.
but now go back to your concert story. How you would talk to the bands, right?
Mhm.
Because you're there to see the band. You wouldn't just necessarily walk over to a random concert attender and just start a conversation with him. Or you maybe you would if it was
I
about the band, but you wouldn't just be like, "Hey, dude, what's up? Like, you go to college? Like, where do you work?" Like, you wouldn't just do that because
You'd
it wouldn't
probably
be
start off
it
talking
wouldn't
about
be
the
socially acceptable. with
Okay.
anything.
Okay, I've got two examples here actually. Hang on, I got a cough.
My only point was that like you personally.
Me personally.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. Maybe the only difference between introverts and extroverts are the number of people that they want to talk to, that they find interesting and want to talk to. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like maybe an extrovert is just somebody that is interested in random people. You know what I mean?
Right, and the ability, or rather the lack of ability to socialize well probably has to do with being introverted in the first place. It's like I have less practice talking to people because I'm introverted, right? And I was going to bring this up, like, when you were talking to me about, or when you were saying people at concerts, when I drove up to see a sleeper a little while ago, we were all standing out in the rain, and everyone was standing out in the rain, and none of us knew each other, but because we were getting soaked in the rain, everyone was cracking jokes and stuff, and I was like, guys, no moshing for at least 3 hours, alright? Because everyone would just, like, slip and slide and stuff, you know, and
I bet that killed.
it did, it really did. But what I was really thinking about is some girl, I was wearing a Woven War shirt, and some girl was like, "Oh, I like your shirt, did you see them live?" And I was like, yeah, with Perfect, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Yeah, it was a pretty good show." And she was like, "I bet." And that was the end of the conversation because I suck at conversing. Really, I could have been like, "Yeah, and Thank You Scientist opened, and I discovered Thank You Scientist because of that tour, and they're awesome," and I could have kept the
Oh,
conversation
Yeah,
going.
you could turn around and be
And
like,
so-
"Did you?"
You missed an opportunity.
You
Was
could-
she
you could have
attractive?
pro-
No, she was short and fat.
Well, there you go.
But
See, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
You
yeah,
didn't have-
and that's probably why you didn't go on to explore that conversation.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. You weren't being an introvert or bad at socializing. You
But-
just didn't want to really.
I mean, I could have talked about, like, Thank You Scientist. I love Thank You Scientist. I want to share Thank You Scientist to people, and I could have been like, yeah, Thank You Scientist was at the show.
Actually, I think you told me about them.
I did.
Yeah, me
I did
too.
tell you about them, and him. I
They're
told everyone about
eclectic,
them.
Like jazz.
There's a jazz fusion
They're like,
band.
"It's
Yeah.
so dope."
Yeah.
I should revisit them.
You should. But, also, you gave the Whataburger example, and I'm going to bring up our experience at Whataburger.
Wait,
You know
what was the point?
Oh my
of that?
God.
You know the story I'm going to tell here. Wait, hang on. What were you going to say? Just say it.
What was the what? I forgot the point you were trying to make.
Well, the point I was trying to make is that chick started a conversation with me, but while I was able to talk to her, and we had something interesting to talk about, something interesting I would love to talk about,
Yeah.
I am just so bad at conversing that it didn't even occur to me at the time that, oh, I should continue this conversation.
I think that was the case of not wanting to come.
Well, hold on. Would this
Maybe
conversation,
subconsciously.
would this
Yeah.
conversational text have been exactly the same if that was an attractive female?
Yes, because I have another example at that same
Okay.
sleeper show.
Like
there was an
someone you're
opening
really
bit.
into, like you exactly. Your
Okay,
type, you know?
I've got an example
Bony.
here.
Hold up.
Listen, shut up.
Norwegian.
Rings.
Scarlet Witch, basically. No, okay. At the Same Old Sleeper show, during one of the opening bands, there was someone who staged. There was this little girl, like blonde, taking pictures next to me. You know, pretty solid looking, whatever. Right?
Solid 7, would you say?
A solid like 9.5.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
that's more than solid.
Okay, so this girl, she like she's standing next to me taking pictures or whatever, and someone stage dives, and I don't even see it happening or something, and they go, and the next thing I see when I look over is she is just gone, like she's just not there anymore, and there's someone like on the ground, and I look over and she was like getting up or something, and I didn't know if she ducked or if she got hit or whatever. Anyways, at the end of the show, at the end of their set, anyways, I looked at her and kind of jokingly said, "You alright, dude?" And she didn't say anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end of the conversation.
So because she don't want to talk to you.
Exactly. That's just the inverse of the situation, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it is a subconscious.
Maybe she didn't hear you.
No, she definitely heard me.
Oh, she probably looked over and saw your like hair.
Maybe she's not digging the locks.
And then we had some awkward occurrences later throughout the show. But
that's the worst.
But the Whataburger stuff, no, it wasn't the worst. It was literally during a sleeper. I don't know where she went because during a sleeper everyone's crazy and stuff. And I was like, she's gonna get killed, and her $500 camera that she has is gonna get crushed if she's not still standing there. Anyways, during the show.
So you're keeping track of all the attractive women in the room.
Dude, let's be honest. If you're at a metal show, everyone does that. It's like, little girl, okay, I'm gonna make sure that the pit doesn't like kill them, and all the big guys are like, alright, huddle around him. I'm gonna keep the pit safe.
Just a bunch of miladies like, don't let this girl get hurt.
I bet my crack just went on camera right there when I did that.
Are you wearing underwear?
I am, but I mean, it's all saggy and stuff.
Because with the clog filters, you never know.
But okay, you said you went to Whataburger, and you were like, yeah, but I'm going to talk to the cashier and be polite to him and stuff, and I'm only going to go sit by myself. But you know the story I'm going to bring up. If you were the cashier, and someone, for instance, sat up on a counter that they shouldn't have sat on, would you have called them out on it and then held like a 5-minute conversation with them about them sitting on the counter?
Wait, what?
I probably, if I was the cashier in this situation where a person was sitting up on counter and didn't need to be sitting up on counter, I would have.
You just said get off the counter, please.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I would have been like, "Excuse me, sir. Can you not sit on the counter?" Or something along the lines of that. But I wouldn't be like, "Man, what's wrong with you? You were the worst thing in society."
And so my argument there is that would be a mental disorder. That could be a mental disorder too. If you're classifying extreme introversion as a mental disorder, I would say extreme extroversion is also a mental disorder.
Oh,
well, yeah.
Are those people that ask like a question a second, or like just they're so blah 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 blah, like hitting you on like with like a machine gun barrage of questions.
Like you have been this whole episode.
A guy.
No, I'm just kidding.
A guy at work said that there's like he was talking to me. He said he has a cousin. He has 2 different cousins with autism.
Okay.
But one of them, is really scared of, social interactions and stuff, especially, with people he doesn't know, he's never met before.
Mm-hmm.
But then, he has this other cousin on the other side of his family that, they want, they're too socially open.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, they want to have a connection with you, instantly with everyone that they meet,
Mm-hmm.
And, that's definitely a disorder, too.
I've got 2 examples of that.
Because, autism is a spectrum. So
yes. Okay. So, for example, one of my friends that I work with, he's 21, but he has autism. Now, he is the opposite of the previous ex-girlfriend brother that I mentioned earlier in this episode. Yeah.
Who? No.
Okay. Since, for example, girlfriend's brother did not want to talk to anybody and was always very isolated and whatever. This guy, 21-year-old guy that I work with that has autism, he is the complete opposite. He will come up to you if he doesn't know you. He will talk to you and he won't shut up. And if you have to literally say nothing to get him to stop talking. But if you mention something and he knows what it is and he likes it, he will latch onto that conversational subject and it'll go on. If you let it, it'll go on for hours.
Is he actually autistic or just Asperger's?
It's he has autism.
Okay.
There you go.
Your little brother's autistic, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say your little brother. I don't know. What
Is
do
he
you?
introverted?
Is he
My
more?
little brother. Okay, it might be a little too young to tell because he's only like 9.
Uh-huh.
But as compared to other kids in his class, he is not going to start a conversation with you unless you start it with him. And his conversations have to require prompting. So, like for example, if I were to talk to him, which actually I talked to him today, when I came over to my mom's house, I was talking to him. I said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing good." I said, "How was school?" And he goes, "I did math." I said, "What'd you do in math?" I don't know. And then
It's the same response I would give. Like, come
well,
on.
yeah.
Maybe he really
Yeah,
didn't
something like
know what was going
Well,
on.
he knows what's going on, but his conversations, after
Autistic people are generally really smart.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is pretty smart. He knows how to
I don't know.
read.
I don't know what the
He can
damage
read
is.
before it. He was able to read like 2 grade levels before anyone else in his class could. And
So we do have like a Rain Man situation.
kind of.
Okay.
You call my little brother Rain Man? Just kidding. But yeah, he's pretty smart. He's not gonna talk to you unless you talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Does he read a lot?
My mom makes him read only because my mom raises him as if he was a regular child, so he can learn and try and be integrated into. That's why he's not in special classes. He goes to a private school with my little sister, but he's in regular classes like everybody else, and he doesn't have any kind of grading curves because of his autism or anything.
That's good.
So he's completely treated like a normal person, and behavior-wise, my mom does not tolerate anything. So like before, when he was younger, he'd have like his little autism fits or something like that. My mom would immediately, like, instead of just trying to like comfort and be like, don't do that, mom would be like, no, smack a butt, no, like you don't do that. That's not appropriate in public. And
Okay.
be like,
Does he
"Sorry."
understand?
Oh,
So
he understands.
The
that?
reason I bring up your brother though is because I actually have the opposite experience of that. I've only only dealt with your brother like once, and when I was there, he was talking to me. I remember that. Remember when I was at your house and we had to like fix his PS3 or whatever, and the kid was like, "Hi, what's your name?" I was like, "Jacob," and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he just kept talking, and I didn't have a response and
If
stuff.
he likes a person or he's comfortable with the person, he'll do that. But with like,
I don't know how he
Does
was
he play
coming
video
at me.
games?
my little brother plays video games. He loves playing Dragon Ball Z and like fighter games. And
Oh, that's why, dude. It's the hair.
I don't know, dude. Like, maybe he. I really don't know. Like, he shouldn't be comfortable with me, and
Why are you calling yourself an uncomfortable person?
like
He thought you were a
he
video
was
game
more
character,
comfortable
man.
talking to me than I was to him.
You look like a Viking.
Thank you. I am a Viking, but
Well, no, you don't actually.
no, I
Stay
don't.
on a ship.
I don't.
Pillaging.
I don't actually bike, but
Bro, do you even bike?
but I'm Scandinavian, yes. But it's weird that if he, like, I don't think your brother is actually one way or the other. Like, if he was more comfortable talking to me than I was of him, does that say something about me, or does that say something about him?
It is both, man.
Have you ever met someone for the first time and instantly wanted to know about them and were really friendly with them?
No,
Like the way he was to you? Have you ever been like that to someone
No.
else? Oh.
only if I have an
wrong with you?
intentions, which is what we've talked about. Like if I have intentions, like someone I'm interested in, right? It's
Ah,
like, yeah, I'll
yes.
talk to them.
Socially.
Socially.
Interested.
I think that was last episode, but that episode's not up yet, so we can still still refer to it as last episode, even though this one's going to be coming up after that one.
We
is
should just
anyway, so-
never release that one. Have it as a spare.
No,
Oh. Okay.
no, okay, because I already said it was episode 21, and that one was
That's
episode
true.
20,
Ah,
yeah.
and we've referenced the episode before
I
already.
could just beep out that.
Yeah. We've talked about fat girls and how they're unattractive and stuff. Yeah.
We talked. It was about attractiveness. It was very tasteful, though.
That's cool.
It was.
We were very
it was
sensitive.
good. We should have brought on a girl, but we are losers and don't have any female friends.
We totally should have.
I said get your sister, but you were like, nope.
She's not a female. She's my sister.
Oh!
That's totally different.
That's
It's
true.
a different situation.
That is a different situation.
Why don't we bring on your sister?
She's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, but you're
Or
super humble.
Florida.
Well,
She
whose fault
probably
is
was
that?
Not mine.
Successful high school grades.
Okay, so the whole point of like the past 30 minutes or whatever, I can't actually see the clock, so I have no reference point.
Yeah, you should look at that, though. You should lean in and check it out.
Don't worry about it. We'll just keep going. I mean, maximum is 2 hours, right? We're not even close to 2 hours. So, my point is that disorder is today, like, certain things shouldn't, like, autism is very like testable, right? Like, can't you like look into someone's brain and physically see?
Yeah, my little brother,
You
we take him to an autism specialist. It's in Austin. We take him there, I think, twice a year.
It's inside of you.
It's in me. I'm the specialist. But like upon him going there, they do brain scans. They take blood samples. They do a lot. It's very extensive. And then by the end of the visit, which is usually like a weekend, he ends up getting a bunch of special compounded medicine. And if you don't have insurance, it's pretty freaking expensive. But it's all specially developed for his like autism like spectrum things wrong with
Yes, you can physically,
but they test him a lot.
You can physically see differences in the brain and stuff. Then, right?
Yeah, but he's shown us before. He'd be like, here's a chart of your son's brain. He has high levels of this, he has low levels of this, he's lacking this, and it's causing this, so you need to give him this medicine, and it'll correct these, and you'll see a behavioral and a social improvement. And before, he used to act a lot different, but after he's been going to the specialist and taking this medicine that's supposed to correct these levels, it's like phenomenal differences.
Okay. Huh. And you can see physical differences in a lot of things that we consider mental disorders, like lack of serotonin or whatever. You can see all of that. But I mean, really, like, thousands of years ago, hunter-gatherer style, those people would just be probably, like, in the social group or whatever, be considered, like, weirdos. They wouldn't say there's something, like, mentally wrong with that person, right? And what I'm getting at here is, like, isn't it just more of, like...
Okay, you can't talk.
Okay, it wasn't that long ago, right? We're talking, like, Bible days here, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about people with autism back then?
Yeah, what I'm saying is like...
Well, they wouldn't know the word mental or
They would probably... Shut up. They would probably just go and say... they would probably think of it more on a scale of like...
They have a demon in them, probably.
That's true.
Oh.
And we'll get to that. But what I'm thinking is it's probably more of like... Oh, their personality is just different. Like... To me, like, some mental disorders, I think are just...
had the concept of that either.
Like, shut up.
Well, if it was way back when, they probably just been like, this is the village idiot, or this is something like that, or they just like, considered that person like the weirdo person, and that was just their role in society.
What I'm getting at is that there are some mental disorders that I think should just be considered like a personality difference. Like, for example... Extreme introversion isn't actually harmful to you in any way.
Potentially.
It could potentially be, but anything could potentially be dangerous. At bed, you're sitting on Coco laps and like kill you or something, right? But
no, it sore butt.
I mean, it could. I mean,
if it collapsed.
I have a point I want to bring up about mental illnesses occurring back in times.
Okay.
Now, back in time.
We're going to episode number 4 of TCO where we time travel. All right.
Okay, so you're talking about thousands of years.
We're time dilating backwards somehow.
Back in those days, Earth's population was a lot less than what it is now.
True.
And they didn't have all the different medicines, foods, and I would say impurities that we're exposed to now. Which some people would say are the things that would cause, like some people would say, oh, vaccines cause autism, or this causes autism, or these chemicals that we use to preserve foods and the GMOs cause some kind of whatever, okay? But back in the day, that's probably why there was very few cases of, these mental disabilities being recognized back then.
Well, I think its original just was a mutation, right?
Well, that's obviously how it would have entered.
Yeah.
But if it was, then, well, yeah, I guess it could just be passed on. And
genetically.
And then just rarely.
Well, there's also some weird stuff with, remember if, like, siblings reproduce, their kids stupid for some reason?
Oh, like... Yeah.
I don't know the biology on that, but...
I wish I knew because...
Products of incest.
Products of incest.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. I think it's because... Well, no, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't
You
really
would think that if you had like identical family genes, you'd make like the perfect person, but it does not come out at all as the perfect person.
It's actually the quite opposite of that.
I know ancient Egyptians thought that, like they
wanted to keep their bloodlines pure, so they only reproduce
within the family.
And that's probably why they wanted to enslave whole nations and build pyramids. Like, I mean, who has time for that nowadays?
Yeah,
that's a crazy idea.
In some places around the world today, they still married within their family. Like I know my dad, who's from Pakistan.
Okay,
He
here it
said
is. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My dad is
sorry.
from Pakistan. He said that like they can marry as close as their second cousin, but only if it's on
Second cousin's kind of far, actually.
if it's on your mom's side,
Okay.
because like they think that like the genes like predominantly run through the man.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's a cousin on your mom's side, then that's cool.
Okay. Inbreeding results in homozygosity, which can increase the chances of offspring being affected by recessive or deleterious traits. That makes total sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
it
And
raises
so,
the probability of having undesirable traits.
basically, or it could be like red hair or something could be too. Like if you had red hair and mated with your brother with red hair or whatever, you know.
I like red hair.
You do like red hair, and you need a brother with red hair so you can mate and reproduce because that's how biology
Can't
works.
mate with your brother.
That's the joke. Yeah, so that makes total sense. But mental disorders way back when, I mean, they definitely existed. Like, there's a
probably
reason.
fewer people.
Probably a lot rarer, yeah.
I don't know if it was because, like, you say it's rare, but really there was
Maybe
the ratio
medium,
could
maybe
be the
medium
same.
rare.
The ratio could actually be the same. There were just less people back then. The ratio could
That's
actually
true.
be the same.
Well, we have absolutely no data on this, so it
Yeah,
might have been
there's no way to prove
non-existent.
Well,
It's possible.
You say it could be non-existent, but then we have stories and stuff about people like being affected by demons or whatever. Like the reason those stories even are written is like someone didn't just come up with fictitious stuff. Like while a religious text or something might not necessarily be clear or correct about it being a demon or something, there was probably a dude who was like in a graveyard cutting himself or whatever, right?
Or thrashing around.
It was just at the time it was their best way to explain it.
Well,
because they didn't have the mental capacity to think, oh, we probably have something wrong with him mentally. Like it was in that time period, they were like, oh, he's probably got demons.
well, whether that's correct or not is irrelevant. The point is that there were people that they were referencing, and those people definitely did have the.
That they could have been describing somebody with a mental disorder.
Yeah.
Like side effects of some sort of mental
Right.
thing. Yeah.
And on the religious side of it, I mean, I don't know. That's complicated. Like, since you would be the expert here, actually, you're from a Christian family. Maybe you could talk about this too. But, like demons going into people, or like, there's a thing in Christianity talking about generational curses and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
genetic
I think that,
diseases.
Exactly. I think that really just explains the biological aspects that we already know today, right?
Well, also, you know, there's some foods that can make you kind of crazy.
If you eat human flesh.
Explain.
Mushrooms.
That's true.
You know?
Hallucinogens is.
Maybe you got a young kid, you know, wanders into a mushroom field, doesn't know what he's doing.
Some cow patties.
We're talking like, you know, we're talking Bible days. Get some mushrooms, starts cutting himself maybe, thinks he's crawling with ants or something, you know? Just tripping a little bit.
That's true. He could just
and they're like, whoa, get the shaman out. And get the cow's blood and the chicken pee and do the rituals or whatever, you know.
Witchcraft Part 2 is coming, guys.
To get we gotta exorcise these demons, you know.
Yeah, they gotta work out.
Yeah, and then he's doing that for hours, and then you know.
It wears off.
He wears off. Oh, he's cured.
That's true. That's
good work, shaman.
That's a good example.
Good work, holy man. You've done it again.
That's a good example. But what's funny about
Take my money now.
is those foods are literally just putting in chemicals into your body that would cause that yeah. But an actual, like, when we talk about mental disorders, it's literally just more or less of chemicals like that in your brain that are causing things like that, right? But
yeah, like an excess or
right. And so what I'm arguing here is the definition of a mental disorder just someone with a personality that is different from the average?
Yeah, well, I think so, because like your personality is also a direct byproduct of your chemical brain makeup and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, I think so.
Well, it's nature and nurture. I mean, it's kind of, their versus themselves. But,
True.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, if someone were, there's a difference in personality between someone who was raised, like, the oldest child in a family versus the youngest child in a family. Like, they could have, you could look at their
Yeah,
brains
their personality is directly
they
reflective of, like, just the way they were treated.
Right, they could have different or they could have exactly the same chemicals or very similar chemicals in the brain, but there is a nurture aspect to it as well.
I'd say the best way to figure that out would be to start breaking down, common mental illnesses in our society that people always bring up or self-diagnose themselves with.
And let's move into self-diagnosis. Good transition,
Okay.
Austin.
So what you got here being a common self-diagnosis is people love to say, I've got depression, I've got bipolar disorder, I have ADD, ADHD. I hear that every day.
I like this.
Oh yeah.
God, that's so annoying.
But
okay.
I do have that.
Okay.
I read the entire WebMD article, so I know what's up.
I know what I got.
Honestly, you shouldn't have been sarcastic about that. You should have told him that you had it, because you two don't know each other until now. He might have actually believed that you had it, and you
No, I
could
wouldn't
have argued
believe
that.
Yeah, I was clearly.
I mean, I don't know. It wasn't clear.
Or people will say they have anxiety. If I haven't already said that, I don't remember.
And anxiety is an interesting one because there's. It's hard to find a line where anxiety comes in, because every single person on the planet, if they are at a new school and they don't know anyone, they're going to have a hard time going up to a lunch table and being like, hey, my name's John Smith, Like, there's
Some
not
people.
a single person on the planet, I don't think, who would not be even a little bit nervous about that.
Well,
Yeah,
name like
even
John
I would be
Smith,
a
who
little-
wouldn't?
I know, like, all muscly and, like,
Yeah.
married Pocahontas.
I don't know. I think some people really are like that. Doesn't bother them at all.
Are you like that?
It'd be rare.
No.
Because I know you're more extroverted than I am, and you are good at talking to people.
Well, to a certain. I mean, I wouldn't. No.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that either.
I don't think
Well, I
there
mean-
are people that are, like, not even... I don't think people are like that. They
I mean,
just
like,
have
I
emotion.
realize, like, social anxiety is literally based on my own emotions, which I can control to some degree, so this really
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Like, social acceptance or rejection doesn't really matter. But even knowing that, yeah, it's still like, it's in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I think some people really don't care.
You know what? Maybe there are some people that don't. My mom's like that. My mom is very loquacious. She'll talk to anyone.
Oh,
your mom's
she's
weird, man.
loquacious.
Uh-huh.
Monsieur Webster. She's loquacious, is she?
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, I think it's tea time. I think you need to go. It's time for your tea.
I have water, sir. Aquafina. We're sponsored by Aquafina now instead of whatever old water I was drinking on the
And
show.
Batman.
And Batman. And World of Warcraft
World of
t-shirts.
Made by Jinx.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Jinx sponsor us. We're kind of nerdy. I mean...
But my point is, stop trying to put absolutes on everything, Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so... But, okay, the social anxiety thing, though, like, where is the line? Like, why is social anxiety considered a mental disorder? Like, where's the line where, like, okay, this person, like, they have a little bit of fear talking to people. This person has a lot of fear talking to people, and they just won't
there's
do
the
it.
line.
Where is the line?
The line is right there. If it's kind of like, sometimes it's hard for me to talk to people, you might have slight social anxiety. Now, if you're like, oh my
But
god,
then
if
you
I walk
still
into this
have it
room,
if it's slight.
Yeah.
Oh, when does it become a disorder?
Yeah, when does it become, like,
I think it's a
something that
disorder.
needs pills and stuff?
It's a disorder when it's noticeable by everybody and it affects your operation of daily life. So
Yeah.
if you can't even walk into a room because you're like, I feel everyone's eyes on me and everyone's going to notice everything I'm doing if I'm breathing wrong or, oh my god, I'm freaking the heck out, right? That's where you have a disorder and you need to take medicine because you cannot function on your normal life.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
a disorder if it's affecting your living.
Okay, I'm going to say
like
this
your
right
ability
now.
to.
Then I'm going to self-diagnose myself right now with social anxiety.
No, but see, you meet up with people every day when you deliver pizzas to them.
Okay, not anymore.
You're able
Again,
to meet your social obligations.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, in high school, I went through like some mental tests
Right,
and
your
stuff.
awkward phase.
And no, I went through some mental tests and stuff, and people were like, "Yeah, you have extreme social anxiety." And I was like, "Whatever." And I mean,
Well, did you get afraid when you would talk to people?
That's right.
yes, listen,
not
yes,
wanna eat
listen,
around
listen,
people
listen.
at
I've got some,
Whataburger?
I've got some examples of this and stuff. Okay. Yes, like I could not talk to people at all. It took a lot for me to talk to anyone, and like even still, like after high school, it was even years after high school. Like I haven't told anyone this, I don't think, but like when there was like a year of me trying to find a job, like part of the reason I couldn't find a job is just the idea of going into a place and asking for an application just like terrified the crap out of me. Like one time straight up I drove to Guitar Center on Fairmont and I sat in my car and I was like sitting there for like 5 or 10 minutes just like, all right, come on man, no fear, you can do this. Like I'm serious. I know I'm being honest and it's making me sound weird, but like this affected my everyday life.
Yeah,
Now, in my pseudo-professional opinion of mental disorders, I would say back then,
Pseudo-professional.
you could say, yeah, you probably did have extreme social anxiety because you couldn't, because if it affected your daily life and you had to stop and think, okay, I can't do this because I don't want to talk to people and that freaks me out.
Mm-hmm.
But you also said you did some tests, and those tests gave you that diagnosis of extreme social anxiety disorder.
I don't trust those tests. Like,
Right.
Straight up. Like, I went through
like they were
ninth grade. I went through a lot of psychological testing and stuff, and they said a lot of things about me. And
Wait, how long was your hair?
when
did you grow out your hair?
Real talk. The reason that they even started psychological testing me was because I was in ninth grade, wouldn't talk to anyone. Did a solid like 5% of any of the work in any of my classes. One of the classes I straight up had a 0 in. And my hair, I did the whole hair in my face, like covering my face completely and walked around high school like this, like completely covering my face. And that's when they were like, there's something wrong with this kid.
Yeah,
and they need
I'd
to
say
be
that
tested.
too, man.
This kid doesn't even realize that doing that draws more attention to himself.
Right. Gotta fix my glasses, sorry.
Pretty messed up back then.
So, but see that just proves my point. It was affecting. You weren't able to meet your social.
And other
obligations.
people were noticing this.
That's true.
That's
and so when I say I'm self-diagnosing myself with that, like
But you weren't. You
I was
actually got
allowed.
tested.
Well, sort of. They had some other things that they said that I'm not going to bring up, but there's reasons behind that, which is why I think psychology is kind of a pseudoscience. But
sexual anxiety.
What?
explain,
What are you
Josiah.
talking about?
No, was that what they didn't?
Yeah, I have sexual anxiety.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now feel free to talk about it. It's out there.
Oh yeah, man. What is even sexual anxiety? Like, what is the specifics of that? You can't get it up or something? Just kidding, this is a PG show. We can't talk like that on here.
Yeah, kids, fast forward.
Fast forward.
So, like you were saying,
It's pretty obvious what it is. It's anxiety about things of a sexual nature, obviously.
But that's more like, I guess I would self-diagnose myself with that too, but I think that's really just like stemming from the social anxiety. Like just talking to people, like, first of all, I think you gotta talk to someone before you...
Are you nervous right now?
Before you fornicate with them, right? So...
That's not, no, that's not what I'm talking. I'm just talking about just anything of that nature making you anxious,
What? I need more explanation. Kids, fast forward about 5 minutes.
Okay, like, boobs. Am I making you anxious when I say
Whoa, you can't say that word on here.
That's a PG word.
Is it?
You could, well, maybe PG-13.
yeah, well, they said that on Drake and Josh, a couple of boobs.
Oh, that's BEWBS,
That's
which
true.
is a different.
It's like noob.
There's also a bird called a booby.
It's true. It's true. So we're talking about the bird here.
That's BUBIE.
I mean, are you saying the
kidding.
word itself is...
I was just joking, actually. The whole thing is a joke.
Okay, I know, but... I mean, that is a thing, right? Like, I could Google it, but I think it really just stems from social anxiety.
Yeah, probably.
And I think what my argument here is, like,
Yeah,
with
what is your argument here?
social anxiety, if you have fear of talking to people, like, you kind of can self-diagnose yourself with that. Like, you know if it affects your daily life, you know, or like me with OCD, I know it affects my daily life or whatever.
Well,
like,
you
I
can
can.
affect-
No one's ever. I don't think anyone's ever
You do
diagnosed
not
me.
have OCD.
I do to quite extremes. You have no
Like,
idea.
I've never even noticed, to be quite honest.
I mean,
It's
I've
definitely
got.
not with your hair.
I've gotten. See, that's the thing. People are like, "Oh, with OCD, everyone's neat and stuff." It's like, no, that's not what it is. It's different for every
not,
single
obviously.
person. Like, okay,
There we go.
it was at its worst again in like 9th grade. I'm revealing way too much information about myself, and this is very
Just
embarrassing.
get it out there, man.
Okay, so like 9th grade, you know, hair and face, wore my Demon Hunter jacket all the time, totally covering my body.
Mm-hmm.
I would avoid touching people because touching people meant germs, right? If someone touched me, like right here in the halls, I would go. Okay, if I was in class and someone touched me, I can physically feel where they touched me, and it's like in my brain, like the whole time I can physically feel it. And if I was in the halls or something, I would be like, whatever, I'm gonna be late to class, go into the bathroom, get water, and like wash off that spot,
Ooh.
like over my jacket.
How often did you wash that jacket, though?
I mean, that's what
It
I'm
seems
saying.
like that would get kind of...
Right, there's inconsistency issues where you're like with germs and stuff. There's definitely inconsistencies there, but it's your own weird obsessive compulsions.
The OCD doesn't have to make sense to exist as being OCD.
Oh, no.
It's just that's what it's obsessive about.
Mm-hmm. Even nowadays,
Most of it doesn't make sense.
you ever notice how I wash my hands for a very long time? I know you've definitely noticed that because people have called me out on it before.
Yeah.
Specifically
You're
your
supposed
brother.
to say happy birthday when you wash your hands.
I mean, you are, but when I'm washing my hands, I'm thinking, and this is weird, you know, turn on the sink, I'm like, okay, gotta wash the spot off that touched the faucet because the faucet's really gross, gotta wash this, gotta wash right here, gotta wash right here, gotta wash in between all the fingers, and the whole time I'm going, I used to count, I was like, okay, 10s and 7s are good, so I used to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
faster than it.
Right?
You're
And
counting too fast.
then there used to be like, once it would get more extreme, there would be exponential things. So like, I count to 10 7 times, and then I'm like, well, I don't know if I missed a spot. Now I got to do it 7 more times. So I got to count to 10 7 times 7 times. And nowadays it's at the point where it's like, okay,
It's rough.
nowadays it's at the point where it's like 7 is the best number. So when I wash my hands, I'm like, okay, maybe I can just trick myself. So when I wash my hands, I'm just like 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 7. I said 7 7 7 like 7 times. I might have done an extra one and people have it on camera, so I screwed it up. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Exactly.
I mean, from that, based on
Like
that.
people, like you don't necessarily see it, but it does affect my daily life. It's all mental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, huh. That's super weird, bro.
I know. I'm a weird. I see you're weirded out. You're like looking at him. You're like, there's a psycho in this room
I've
right
met
here.
people
No, I
like
mean,
that
it's like- I
before.
mean, it's like-
Obviously, I know you, and a
Just
good
'cause you wash
example of this is
I've
like,
been pretty open about telling people about it, or I try to be.
I think you
Because
told me before, actually.
I think so.
So if I touch you right now, will you...
No, I've gotten better about it, especially now that I've worked at Domino's where I have to touch money and stuff all the time. But there's also weird things like with meat. Like if I'm cutting a pizza and I could feel it, or I could make up a little bit of meat juice splashing on my face. My mind could actually be making up if I cut the pizza too aggressively, you know, like pepperoni juice flies everywhere or something. But sometimes I'm convinced that it doesn't happen that often, and I'm making it up in my mind. There's like a little piece of meat juice right here. I have to go to the bathroom, wash my hands, wash that spot off.
Mm-hmm.
You work with raw meats?
Raw and cooked.
Oh, I don't know that.
Okay.
Pizza.
It's pizza.
I just figured it was all frozen already, and you just kind of...
This episode's just about how weird Jacob is.
This isn't
What,
DeGioia.
Well, that's what it's turned into.
what are you gonna say?
I was gonna talk about, okay, you like totally just reflected what I was about to say. Now, I want to say this too. Just because you're diagnosed or you self-diagnose yourself with a mental disorder doesn't necessarily mean it's permanent. You can get over it in time, like you got over your high school stages of nobody could touch you whatsoever.
Maybe in a
or
few
whatever.
years you'll be able to wash your hands like a normal person.
To an extent,
Yeah,
If I
seriously.
shake someone's hand, I can still feel it on my hand, and I have to wash my hand.
You can
Right.
feel what...
It's there to a little bit. I can Yeah, it's a mental thing. You've seen
psychologically.
You've seen Better Call Saul where he's like he can feel the electricity or whatever.
Yeah.
Like your brain can trick you into feeling things. Like I can feel it.
That's weird because you know you're crazy, but
Yep.
you
Yeah,
can't
being
stop
being
yourself.
conscious and aware of something, but not being able to actually do anything about it.
That's weird.
That's why it's obsessive
How can I
compulsion.
cure
Like you have to do it.
How do I cure you?
You don't.
Exorcism? Do you have a germ demon? Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, maybe
Lay down on this bed, and we'll tie you up.
the thought of laying
Beach-
down on your bed grosses me out, and like
No
These
way.
sheets are cleaner than your whole house.
right, but it's my house, so there's a difference. I don't know why.
Actually, you got dogs running around everywhere.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit on people's beds, so it grosses me out.
Why?
And that's why you have a chair.
Or these chairs when you have like towels on here, and I'm like, oh gross, I gotta sit in this chair that had your towel on it.
Those were clean.
You've heard me talk. You've heard me say that though.
I have to
before.
hang up my used towels
Do you?
to dry.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Those were freshly washed.
I
They should
think-
feel even better.
And so,
Not sitting
obviously,
down on that
obviously, self-diagnosis. Like I think all three of us are pretty clear about like people who self-diagnose themselves are just generally considered like not that smart.
That's probably a disorder in and of itself.
It could be.
The reason people have an issue with self-diagnosis is because it lacks a credible background to it. It's
Mhm.
like you self-diagnose yourself with, oh, I have depression, right? Did a professional medical doctor tell you that you have depression, or are you just thinking because you're sad about whatever that you actually have depression?
Yeah, being sad isn't being depressed.
That's a basic human emotion.
Yeah.
That's not depression.
Depression is very different. Yes.
What
and
if,
that's
what if
probably
you
why-
peruse the Wikipedia article over
And
depression?
and if you look up and do I have
Go
this?
WebMD.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what gives you like that placebo effect of like of WebMD is you're reading this and you're like, oh, and it's so broad that you're like, oh, I kind of act like that sometimes. Oh, I kind of do that sometimes. And then
Yeah. Like
and then the next thing you
potential
know,
side
you
effects
have
could
like
include-
every disease known to man because
Yeah.
you're like, or a mental disease because you're like, oh, I kind of act like that sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why I would say that a self-diagnosis will lack credibility because you need to have an actual specialist
Yeah.
that knows and is like has done this for their career and knows like it's their life to
Yeah.
look at somebody, and they have the background of looking at hundreds and hundreds of patients, so they can look at you, they can look at you act, and chemically test you, and do all the things that's required to successfully diagnose somebody with a disorder.
Yeah.
So-
WebMD is so broad. Like in the
It's very
symptoms
broad.
section, like it's like potential symptoms, every symptom known to man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, oh yes, oh insomnia. Oh, I had trouble sleeping the other night.
Yeah, it's so.
Oh yeah, this is. I've got so many of the symptoms. I've got so many of the signs.
Dude, anything like that. It's like you have a sore tooth. Go to WebMD. You have cancer.
Yeah. Or it's like,
holy crap.
or like for the
Sometimes
past
still
couple of
enjoy
weeks,
it.
for the past couple of weeks I've been coughing, and immediately my dad's like, "You got bronchitis," and I'm like, "Dad, I'm pretty sure I don't have bronchitis." So I go and look up the symptoms for bronchitis on WebMD, and I'm like, "Oh hey, I match all these symptoms almost. I don't have a fever and I don't have lack of energy, but I'm still like coughing." But that could be a cold, that could be allergies, that could be bronchitis, it could be
cough.
pneumonia.
I got some bad news for you, Austin. You have bronchitis.
Rough
You got
one.
6 months to live, man. Get on the bucket list.
It's true. You're wasting your time on a TCO
Yeah.
episode.
I hope this is on there.
This is the last time you're gonna be on camera.
Okay.
Aside. But I think like the popularization of it
Mhm.
increases because like you got people making jokes about it, like
Ooh,
AD like ADD like that's on like it's been on like every sitcom I've ever seen
Right.
since like 2004. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably because nowadays mental illnesses are considered cool. It makes you unique because you've got something that not
That's
all
true.
other people have. And I guess a good way to see this would be on like on the internet. If you ever see
I
people,
wish I could, buddy.
it's like I've seen people's dating profiles where they're like 18, bipolar, and I'm like, why are you trying to say you're bipolar? That's not supposed to like make you unique or cool. That's
First of all,
that's
Maybe
issue, man.
bisexual people are bipolar.
Probably the name
Whoa.
changed with the.
we did an episode on homosexuality. All right.
We didn't even talk about that. Oh, we did talk about that you could have a mental disorder possibly.
We did mention how it could be a mental disorder because it goes against evolutionary standards.
We've also talked about that with friends, that one day.
With friends.
Your
With,
gay friends?
No, but our friend that was like super expert on gay people because
dude, you're qualified for everything. You have a gay brother and
Your
an
9-year-old
autistic
brother is gay?
Oh, is that not allowed on camera? I'm sorry.
jeez.
We can bleep that out, I promise.
That's fine.
Okay. I mean,
You're jeez, man.
I was just wondering.
You're qualified for everything, though. And you're in the military. You have top secret intel. And
You're in the military?
Was.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I got medically discharged and now I'm chilling at home right now.
Nice.
It's not nice.
No,
It
he
sucks.
didn't want to get medically.
I didn't want
discharged.
to. I
Oh.
was supposed to go to like a 4-year university and commission.
No,
and,
real
like,
talk.
yeah.
Is that not allowed in the episode? We can bleep that out.
No, it's fine.
Okay. I'm sorry, Devin. I love you.
Do any of your brother's friends watch the show?
No.
No one watches the show.
Is he one of the 9 people?
my brother, I don't think he even knows the show exists.
Probably
to be
not.
honest.
No. But okay. So generally, we can probably consider self-diagnosis to be like incorrect and wrong. But I mean, clearly there are some people who like. I don't know if like. You
are there
are
some
right.
disorders that like are so obvious that you can't
Yeah, it's like.
self-diagnose?
I mean, I've self-diagnosed myself with OCD. Would you guys say that I don't have OCD?
But I thought you actually did go to a doctor.
I've been to doctors and stuff. I don't think they said I had OCD. I don't remember about that one, but
Well, I mean, in my non-professional opinion, you are crazy.
I'm crazy. You heard it
That's
here first,
insane.
folks. It is literally insane. Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
as
mean,
in,
germs are literally everywhere.
that's true. Yep.
That's why.
Yep.
That's why I don't care about them.
Yep. And it's weird.
Plus, society got to this point
Because of germs.
Mm-hmm.
without washing.
Right. And so what I'm saying here is, while there are some
I'm
people,
just saying, like we only known about germs for like 100 years. Or
and
something.
and what I'm saying is
when did we
like
invent the microscope?
people who
Like around 100 years ago, right?
people who self-diagnose could be like Austin said, and I tend to believe, and I assume you do too, Josiah, that the people who self-diagnose are just kind of like wanting attention and to feel like a unique, special snowflake and stuff, right?
Maybe so, but that might be a separate mental disorder in and of itself.
Yep.
Like attention.
Yeah, it could be.
Like attention deficit disorder. They have a deficit of attention.
That's-
They need more because they don't have enough.
That's not how that works.
What are you talking about? It's right there in the name. It's right in the name. They have a deficit of attention. They're not getting enough.
That's funny, man.
Those people, I mean, ADD is just a weird one because it's like, no, this kid's just hyper. Like, I mean, sometimes
Yeah, it's a
you don't
this
want to
kid's just a
focus on
regular.
things that aren't entertaining to you. I can't sit down and like read a book anymore because my mind's going a million miles an hour. Does that mean I have ADD? No. Like,
Maybe.
no, it
How
doesn't.
would you know? You're self-diagnosing yourself as not having ADD.
No, you can't say
Oh.
that. You can't
So what we're saying is that we can't trust self-diagnosis. You need friends around you to diagnose
No,
it.
you need professional friends. You need
A man,
you need-
listen, Josiah, a man is nothing more than what others say he is, alright? So,
That's so
Yeah,
debatable.
way to quote,
protest the
yeah.
hero.
Oh, that's the first thing that I was like, a man and nothing more.
Okay,
That's-
don't
that's
sing on
not-
camera, come on.
That's a
Just kidding.
famous quote.
Is it?
I'm sure not from that band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is,
Pretty sure
like,
it's a literary quote. From
if everyone is self-diagnosing, and you can only trust people diagnosing from other people, like, does that make sense, right?
No, it doesn't make sense.
So, what do we do with the people who self-diagnose themselves? Do we just be like, you're an idiot and don't trust them? Or, like...
Just be like, look, man, I respect your opinion of yourself being this way, but you
I
should
don't
probably get that
respect
checked out.
It doesn't really matter what
Yeah, I don't.
what
You
diagnosis
should
they've
get
given
checked out.
themselves, really. I mean,
Right?
you don't
So
need
what
to,
you're
It
saying-
just lacks the credibility.
you don't need to
until-
form an opinion about them based on that or anything. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like if I told you,
Uh-huh.
hey, I'm self-diagnosed with ADD,
Uh-huh.
how would that change our relationship at all?
I would be like, no, stop being an idiot. No, you don't. Like...
Or I'd be like, you need to actually
Okay.
get that for real diagnosed to make sure you do. Because if you don't, you're not going to receive any kind of medicine for it, and you're just going to keep acting the same.
Right, but I mean, why... Like, what's the point? Like, okay, they're doing it to be a unique and special snowflake, if they are. But they're giving themselves... It's like the whole attention thing, where it's like
Mhm.
negative attention is still attention.
Yep.
And so, it's probably the mental disorder of, like... not extreme introversion, because I'm declaring that's not a mental disorder, but just like, needing attention, I guess. Yeah, attention deficit.
Yeah, it's people want them to notice them, so they're like, oh, what is something I can do or say that would make me stand out from the crowd of other people, so people would, even if it's bad attention, would pay attention to me. See, so and purposely try and make it come up in conversation, and be like, yeah, I've been feeling really down. I think I have depression, or sometimes I'm like happy one moment, and then I'm just like totally mad.
That's called basic human function. Like your emotions are meant to change. If I tell you there's a cockroach in your ice cream, and then I say just kidding, you're meant to go from like horrified to oh cool.
Go 0 to 100 real quick.
But I mean, that definitely is that's a huge part of it though, because like even when I'm telling you guys like about like with the OCD thing, Josiah, you said you don't have OCD. I had to sit here and I had to prove it to you that I did, because there is some like stigma there of like, oh, I want to be a unique and special snowflake, even if it's negative unique and special snowflake. I'm admitting to you right now that there is some like pride in me or something that says, hey, there's something different about me that these other people either don't know or makes me different from
them. Or you're
them.
just trying to make someone believe what you're saying because you don't want them to think, oh.
So you're saying you have attention deficit disorder?
No, I was referring to OCD, not ADD. ADD is not.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that, like, it definitely is there, the need, the need to be a unique special snowflake or something. Maybe I do need attention. Maybe I do have the alternate attention deficit disorder that you've created on this show right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I do. Maybe I have a deficit of attention. I mean, I host a podcast. Like, obviously I need attention. I want to be a big famous rock star. Maybe I do need attention.
Yeah.
Or is that just a regular basic human?
So I'm a unique special snowflake because I want attention. I have a mental disorder because I want attention, and I'm a unique special snowflake, and I'm different from all of you, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem, isn't
You're
it?
pretty much a loser, man.
I am. Well, that's confirmed. We've confirmed that on this show in other episodes, yes.
I think this show confirms it.
Yeah, we put it to the test, I think. In every episode when we're comparing people, it's like, oh, there's two of us here, me and Josiah. I'm going to compare myself to Josiah.
Mm-hmm.
I suck. Like, I mean, Josiah's pretty rad, so. Ladies.
No.
Red-headed ladies, excuse me.
Aw, yeah. Hook me up. Check out my Tinder profile.
Oh, no.
Where you just swipe right on only the red-headed ladies?
No.
And you get those bots that are like, hey, I want to have sex with you, go to this website. And it's like,
oh, yeah. Hit me up on this chat room. I want to send pictures to you.
Yeah. You always know when it's a bot, too, because you go to their profile and there's no text or anything. It's literally like 3 pictures. One of the pictures isn't even the same person, and it's like...
Or it's like all clearly like stock photos of some person.
Right.
So yeah, Tinder, guys. The thing about Tinder is...
Oh gosh, I do not.
I think we talked about that last episode actually.
Yeah.
How to be successful at Tinder.
Yeah.
Don't be a male. That's how you be successful.
Pretty much.
Did you talk about how you swipe right like all the way until it didn't let you go anymore, and then you still didn't get a match?
Yeah. That's literally what everyone does. Dude, I'm still doing that. I'm gonna do that right now. Like, I'm gonna swipe right on everyone. Pull out your phone, you do it too. Just saying, keep
I'll
talking
probably
about
get some though, no lie.
Keep talking about mental disorders while we do this.
Okay, well, I've
only had 2 fat chicks that are actually matches, and it's like, why am I bothering?
One surefire sign of a mental disorder is
attracting fat women.
If you don't like comic book movies. Now, hey, look, this is my thing. Don't even pay attention to this.
See, that's actually like, while you're joking, that's actually a good point. As like, mental disorders being a personality difference, where someone could say, on average, most people like superhero movies. So if you let's say obviously that's not an actual stat, but if there was a stat that said, oh yeah, we've proven that 80% of people liked Avengers too.
That's
like
still 20% is enough to be normal.
Is it? Because we are saying nowadays, remember, mental disorders are being diagnosed more and more nowadays. Is that because we actually...
GMOs.
Is that actually because GMOs, or is that because we're diagnosing a broader pool of people than we should be?
It's because of the profit pool that pharmacies, and it's that whole propaganda of like the
See,
more we
that's how it
diagnose,
feels, yeah.
the more money we get for people getting medication that boosts up the need for pharmacists and farm techs. Then that in return brings us more customers to try and get more.
Right,
It's
it could be
it's
something
it's
like
a
that.
pretty bad cycle right now. Hey, look, I got a match.
Shut up. I bet it's a bot.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, you
let's-
gotta do like base fingers on that? Anyways. I mean, it could, like, we're broadening the pool, and with more people self-diagnosing themselves, some people could be like, I don't like comic book movies. Ooh! You know, like, I'm special, right?
I'm edgy.
Yeah.
My favorite movie
man.
is Fight Club or something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, can we diagnose edginess as a real? Like, I can't stand that, man.
That's another one I have.
I
Sorry,
only
guys.
shop at Hot Topic.
No, those are wannabe edgy people. Those aren't
Those are
actually edgy people.
Have you ever bought anything from Hot Topic?
Yeah.
I legit don't think that I have. I
Me
can't
neither,
think of a single thing.
I've been in there a few times.
Probably small things.
They have
I
like
passed out flyers for a concert there one time
they have they have some cool stuff like
that I was opening band. So
I remember that.
Have you ever bought one of the I Heart Boobies bracelets?
No.
Okay.
No.
I've
Screw that.
stolen them from people.
Oh man, those were all the rage in high school. I remember that.
But I mean
I remember bands of any kind, really, those silicone bands. Like,
you were saying bands, I was like, no, I mean
Bands of any kind.
Bands.
no,
yeah.
the original one was that yellow one from.
the Live
No Live
Strong
Strong bands
yeah.
started it all.
In
Yeah.
like 2005.
And then like it's like let's make bands with anything on them.
yeah. Literally.
Quite
just
literally, yeah.
like-
Like,
Yeah.
Jelly donuts.
Yeah.
Got that jelly donut brand.
That actually, whenever there's like a pre-order package for albums or whatever,
They come
every
with
time I
bands.
order one, there's like a little band in there too, and I'm like, I don't want this crap. I'm not wearing this.
Oh,
Do
should
you
keep
remember?
them.
Do you remember when the
I
rubber
actually
band
give them to
animals
my
were
brother
around,
because
dude?
he likes
You
them.
can melt them down into phone cases.
Do you remember when the rubber band animal bracelets were
The
around?
silly bands, right?
Silly bands.
Yeah.
Those are so dumb.
I used to have so many of those.
You
I'm
can't
such a
tell what
loser.
animal it is.
No,
Until you take it
can't.
off.
It doesn't make it doesn't.
People
it's-
who
it's
wear those have a
useless.
mental disorder.
I mean, if you like the way it looks, cool, whatever. But it's like
I liked
it's
those
an
a lot
animal.
back in high school.
I'm sure you
They
did.
were cool.
No, they're not.
Uh-huh.
Nope.
They were talking points among people because you could share whatever.
Yeah, but I don't want talking points.
Because you're
Look, bro,
Yeah.
I literally paste talking points on my chest everywhere I go, but I don't want to talk about it. I do not want metalheads to come up to me and be like, "Oh, nice Demon Hunter shirt. What's your favorite album and stuff?" Like, I
What
don't
if
want
she's
to.
a 7 or above?
I mean,
Then you
if
do.
it's a she and she's like an 8 or above 7, it's just whatever.
What?
Mm.
If 5 is average, then 7's
She's
got to be.
above average, so
She's 2 points
don't you
above
want to talk to
average,
Yeah,
above average?
above
females?
average-
which is like pretty attractive.
Don't you want to talk about above average females? No, I'm not thirsty like you, alright? I mean, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth the time and effort if they're only a 7.
Wow, you have insanely high standards.
That's true, I do.
Although actually, based on the women, based on your
Well,
what I've seen of your 7s and above, that 7 is not actually. that-
according to you, you know, everyone has different
Yeah,
personalities.
exactly.
So, like,
Like
yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen apparently is pretty up there. Is she
Well,
an 8?
actually,
Is she an 8?
listen, I
Is
gave her.
Elizabeth Olsen
Didn't
an
I
8?
give her
Tell
like
me
a
that.
9.5 earlier? No, I gave someone else. But no, what I was gonna say is Elizabeth Olsen specifically. She's actually just not that attractive, but her in the Scarlet Witch getup is much more attractive.
It's like it's like the most basic thing. It's like a jacket that she's wearing.
and red hair.
No, but she's also got like tons of black eyeliner and stuff, and you know me.
Oh, she's got a little metal vibe. So that ups the.
She also, real life her is like American, but in the movie she has like a Russian accent or something too.
She sounds like a vampire. That's so metal.
Shut up.
Oh,
But no.
now
see,
I get it's all coming together.
it is
so
different. Like
these cultural factors are affecting you, affecting how you see
shut up.
it.
We already did an episode on
So
this.
you
We
had,
did a whole episode on this.
but now it's relevant because this is a real life example.
Okay, go ahead.
All I'm saying is you admit that she's just slightly above the average range.
No,
But
she's.
these other things,
Oh yeah.
these other things are like, these other factors aside from her actual physical appearance
Okay.
is bringing her up.
Okay, I can do the same thing with you though, right?
Why?
Okay, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Her in Avengers versus her in other movies. Do you prefer her in Avengers?
Well, to be
I
fair,
prefer her
haven't
no
seen-
matter what movie she's in.
Yeah,
man.
she looks the same.
Okay, but do
It
you
doesn't matter if
do
she's
you
fighting people or
personally
not.
prefer her in Avengers?
No.
Okay.
I don't think she's that great of an actress. So,
And she's also just not that good looking, but
I think she's.
In your humble opinion.
Yeah.
well, again, we already did an episode on this. It's taste. Like Scarlett Johansson to me is uglier than Elizabeth Olsen, but that's irrelevant. It's not relevant to mental
No,
disorders.
no.
Wait, could we say
No.
that someone has a mental disorder if they were attracted to ugly people? Like statistically proven ugly people?
No, they're just extremely not shallow.
You see.
Insert
Maybe-
shallow Hal the movie.
Actually,
Yeah, go
maybe
watch
being
that.
shallow
Yeah,
is a mental disorder because you're lowering your pool of who you would breed with, and evolutionary-wise, you want to reproduce.
Well,
But then also, evolutionary-wise, you want to reproduce with the people who are healthy and look better and stuff.
Well, having a super high
We
ego
talked
and being
about
really egocentrical is a mental disorder. So if your ego is so high that you're like, I can only date 10s, and yeah, then that is something wrong with you because you can't even.
I don't think it's necessarily an ego thing, though. Because I don't think I have an ego that high, and I would probably only date 8s and above.
Yeah, but how often? When does that ever come up though?
What do you mean? Like, when am I ever around 8s?
When are you ever around like 5 to 7.5, and you're like,
When have you even dated
I'm
any of
out.
the requirements?
When I've ever dated anyone, like, come on, dude.
remember that
I'm a
one?
loser.
Something
Social
like
anxiety, guys.
Remember that one chunky
Sexual
in middle
anxiety.
school?
What?
Remember that chunkster in middle school?
Chunkster?
Yeah.
I know who you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she got really fat later, yeah.
No. She was plump already.
I mean, she was probably
When I
like...
saw her,
She was not like anorexic, but...
she also wasn't.
She also,
Trying to fit.
towards the end of the relationship, she got very fat. And she's still very fat to this day. Hopefully she doesn't watch this podcast.
I've dated one fat chick.
Let's
I
not
don't
we're
like.
being mean. We're just stating facts here.
It's true. And we've already proven on the show that we don't like fat people.
Wait, she's not the one that made our logo, is it?
No.
Oh, okay. Wait, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Austin. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just saying.
You've dated fat chicks.
I know. I've only dated one fat chick.
This is
And
irrelevant.
she was crazy, so I didn't
Well,
stick
she
around
was
that
fat,
one.
so she had a mental
She was
disorder.
what would you diagnose her with?
God, man, I don't know.
Insecure? Was she
well-
insecure? She don't like you talking or looking at any other women?
No, but she had this this weird thing. Is like the reason we broke up was because
Alright,
she
sorry,
probably
guys,
she
we're
probably
hardly
had,
talking about the topic.
no, listen,
Yeah,
I'm,
but
I'm bringing it in. She
you said
probably
she was
had some kind of
crazy.
separation
Yeah.
anxiety because I was gone on a cruise for like 1 week
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't contact her because I'm in the middle of the ocean. Okay, so I have no cell service or anything like that, and internet's like a
Was this
dollar a minute.
recently?
No,
When
this
you
was
went on a cruise?
Not on my most recent cruise,
Okay.
like my first cruise. I love cruises.
That's great. No, you gotta say like a cruise name so they give you a...
Carnival cruise? No, not Carnival.
Carnival
No,
sucks.
Norwegian Cruise Lines rules.
Okay.
Always go Norwegian.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I was gone
I'm
for a week.
Norwegian. Ladies, always go Norwegian. Anyways,
Yeah.
continue.
I was gone on the cruise for the week, and before
I'm more Swedish, actually.
we were like
Don't tell
perfectly
them.
fine. Okay, like the weeks before I was going, and I even told her I was like, "Hey, I'm leaving in a couple weeks to go on a cruise," and she was like, "Okay, that's cool. Bring me back a souvenir." So I'm gone for that week, and I come back after the week, and apparently the whole week I
don't
was
think I'm
gone,
actually
she
Norwegian.
had just like lost it, dude. Like I come back and she's just like tripping. Like has her friends in there, she's crying, and she ends up turning around like it was my fault that I left her for a week. And
Well,
I was just like, I'm
You
so
did
out
go
of
on a
here.
cruise.
Well, yeah, but like, so, like,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna sit there and be like, no, sorry, I can't go on family vacation because my girlfriend has like social anxiety. Or,
Right.
Did you
Yeah.
tell her that you
Separation.
were leaving?
Yeah,
And then probably...
How many times?
like weeks before.
How many weeks before?
I don't know, like whenever it got brought up. Maybe
How
maybe it was like 5.
Oh, that's enough time.
Yeah, I told
To
her
get
enough
ready-
time.
to
It
get
wasn't, it
ready.
wasn't like, hey, reminder, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Did you have a big goodbye?
Uh,
Like go,
Does-
give her a hug.
How
Yeah.
serious was this
Or whatever.
relationship? Who was this? Name drop.
I can't name drop.
Okay.
I'll name drop after.
Okay.
Did you give her like a long hug and be like, all right, I'll see you in a week?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I did everything
Okay.
I was supposed to.
okay, that's very weird.
But like, yeah. But so I come back and
that's
she
probably
like,
a mental disorder.
and yeah, it was like the day I come back. I was like, we got back a little early while she was still in school.
She's
So I didn't,
crying.
so I didn't have to go to school that day. So I was like, oh, I know. I'll ride my bike up to the school and I'll surprise her, and she'll be so happy to see me. No, that was not what happened. She was pissed,
What did
and I even brought back a gift.
Lower the voice.
What did she say she was angry about? Did you try and talk to her?
I didn't even get to because she holed herself up in a room with her friends
Josiah,
and was
the
just so
love
mad at
guru
me,
over
dude.
here.
I don't even care. It was like 3-4 years ago, but like, I don't even talk to this girl anymore. Actually, I talked to her very recently just to see how she was doing.
Is she still overweight?
I mean, she's probably she's still overweight.
She's still overweight. She's not doing well.
Yeah, she's not doing well either. She got dropped out of college and is just straight working now. And I'm like,
Hey man, you dropped out of the military.
Did it all go
no,
down?
my fault.
Did it all go down from the point that y'all broke up?
Pretty much.
So
She started doing drugs. And
so
stuff,
you
do you feel
influenced
guilty about
someone
that?
to ruin their life.
I don't feel guilty because I've never broken up with a girl. They've always broken up with me.
Oh snap! Okay.
So
Wait,
I
so
don't
she
blame
broke up with
anybody.
you, so you did
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to her eventually.
She broke up with me because I left, and she was like,
Oh, that ended the relationship.
yeah.
Was this like freshman year or something?
This is sophomore year.
Okay, yeah, she's.
Like it matters. Stupid high school words.
Oh, okay, so that was never actually.
No, it wasn't. Shut up. I mean, it could be, but
How many high school relationships get past?
I know a couple that are still going, but just a couple. So would you guys?
One couple?
No.
That was good. That was pretty good.
Like everyone was thinking that. Jeez. Would you guys say that everyone has a little bit of mental disorders in them? To some extent.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, Josiah, what would you say that you have?
What do you self-diagnose yourself with?
Yeah, self-diagnose yourself right now. Don't make up something like.
Is it possible to be too confident?
Yeah.
Is that
Ladies.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it weird that I have I need to talk to women?
No.
Are you serious?
That
No.
I need female approval?
No. No, needing approval is everyone needs approval of some kind.
But from the opposite sex, though, specifically?
I mean, most people probably need approval
That's just
of
normal.
the
That's
sex that they
biology.
find desirable, yes.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that like why men do everything they do is to get approval for women? That's why you dress up nice. Not always.
Not
maybe
me.
not for you, but
I wear cargo pants and Crocs and Demon Hunter shirts.
Hey,
or
no
if-
one
or
can
if,
take
like-
that away from you. You dress
I
for
know.
you.
I dress for me. Thanks,
You
Josiah.
go, girl. But I mean, like, as a society, that's why people, shop at certain stores to get the nicest clothes.
Right.
That's why they go to the gym. It's why they do this. It's so they can
I
look
mean,
good for girls.
I mean,
look good
the
for guys
opposite.
and-
Well, girls would say, "Oh, I don't wear." Like nowadays,
Yeah, unless
with
you're,
this
like, some
feminism
feminist
thing,
and-
they're like, "I don't wear makeup for guys. I wear makeup to make myself
Yeah,
look good."
or you don't deserve it.
But as I understand it, women like generally compare themselves to other women when they see them,
Mhm.
while guys don't do that. Like I don't look at Josiah and I'm like, "Man, Josiah is so much hotter than me. Like I have no chance." Right? Apparently, girls do that.
Well, obviously, you have no chance with the same sex, obviously, if you're straight.
No, what? No, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what I'm saying?
Oh, like in the dating game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
girls look at other girls and they're like,
Oh my
she's
gosh,
hotter than
yeah.
I am. So,
Yeah.
Well, I say guys do that too. Like,
I don't.
well, I mean, sometimes it's like guys
But then
see
again, I work
guy
hard,
sees other guy like on a magazine. Guy's really buff. He's like, man, I need to get really buff like that too.
Yeah.
Nowadays, girls like see skinny model girl and they're like, ugh, look at her and thin privilege and ugh.
Thin privilege.
Yeah. Hashtag
What-
healthy at every size.
Hashtag body acceptance.
Hashtag
Fat.
fat people
Hey.
hate.
Jeez, man. It's not even Friday. What are we doing?
I mean, Josiah, give us a mental disorder though. You don't have one. do you?
Anyone?
No, like what would you say that you have?
Oh.
Because you both agreed that everyone has a mental disorder to some extent.
Social anxiety.
Do you really?
I mean,
Does it
to a
affect your
certain
day-to-day life?
degree.
If you needed to go talk to someone, say your guitar wasn't loud enough on stage, and it was someone back there who wasn't Mike, and it was someone you don't know. So,
No, you know what?
The professional guy, the professional sound guy. Would you tell him?
Any social interactions that are based out of necessity, I have absolutely no problem with.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't think you have any social anxiety then, because
No, but see, social interactions that are not based out of necessity, where like nobody has the expectation to converse with you,
hmm
then yeah, that's a source of I mean, some anxiety.
I mean, I don't think that's really social anxiety. I
Yeah,
mean, social
like-
anxiety is like everything, I think.
Like if I want to talk to somebody that, like, I don't have a reason to beyond wanting to,
Mhm.
and neither do they. Then yeah, that's a form of, that's a source of anxiety for me.
Okay, let's say a conversation doesn't go well, and the conversation ends shortly. Are you one of those people who, in your mind, is replaying the whole conversation over and over and over in your head after that?
Maybe a few times.
Yeah, if I feel like I was one that messed it up, then yeah.
Okay.
But if that person is just like
But
totally
I think
standoffish and I was like on my A game the whole time, then no.
This brings me to my theory of awkward and the theory of the word
The
awkward.
theory of awkward.
And why I think
This is
awkward
good. Are you ready?
shouldn't
This is good.
exist.
Okay.
Now, I'd say this has recently become a buzzword. Towards like the beginning of high school, everything was awkward, or like
your
people-
high school?
Yeah.
Oh, I
People
hated
were
that.
always saying like that's so awkward, even when it wasn't really awkward.
The
Now,
year you
what
were
went-
the year you were freshman?
Yeah,
You're just saying
starting.
Or are you saying everyone when they were freshmen?
Well,
Give us a year.
2009.
Oh, okay.
Jeez. Okay.
Well, that's what I was confused about.
Okay, so like I say that I noticed that surfacing around like 2009, and
We just dated ourselves by
Mhm.
saying that.
yeah.
Anyways.
So like people would always be like saying, "Oh, that's so awkward," or this is like even when it wasn't. Now, what I would define awkward as being is to say a situation is awkward is when a social situation happens and you do not know how to handle it, or like you just don't know how to handle it, or you don't know what to do with that. So like, oh, it's awkward. For me, I would say I haven't had an textbook awkward moment in years. Because I always find some way to handle a social situation.
For example, I've got an example. Okay, let's say you're hanging. There's you and a coworker, right?
Mhm.
And one of your friends comes into work to order a pizza. For example, I work at a pizza place,
I'm having to
Right?
put myself in your shoes right now, but
and they're really rude to your coworker, but you don't know that they came in. And then, so right as they're leaving, you're walking out and you see that it was them, and you're like, oh, I missed my friend. And then your coworker is like, man, that guy was such a dick. He was the worst person ever.
well, then I would
That
turn
would be an awkward situation for you, right?
No.
Like you don't, like you're friends with the coworker, kind of. You
Yes.
don't want to be like, hey, man, that was my friend, right?
I
Is
wouldn't
that not
respond
awkward?
to that. I would ask him.
Is
I'd
that
be
not
like,
awkward?
I'd be like, well,
would
what
not.
happened? And he'd be like, well, he told me this and this and this and that, blah blah blah. And if that's what happened, and he's
He's gonna be like, oh, his mom just died.
Yeah, well, if that happened. But I'd be like, oh wow, he really said that, blah blah blah. And then I'd probably approach a friend later and be like,
No,
well,
I
what
would-
was your deal in the pizza shop? Why are you being so mean to my friend coworker?
My
Like,
mom just
yeah,
died.
and if you like, my mom just died, I'd be like, okay,
See,
well,
that's
cool.
because you're like extremely aggressively extroverted, though. You're pretty good in social situations. You're socially experienced. You're like a level 89, like,
I've
socialite or something.
I mean, hey, I would say I had slight anxiety before coming onto the show. Like, I was driving here, and I was just like, oh my god, I didn't think of stuff to say. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to say.
Okay,
and then
so
I got here, sat on this camera, and here I am now.
The TV show Awkward premiered in July 2011.
Okay.
So I would say, yeah, by 2009, that's when it started getting overused.
Yep.
Because 3 years later, we got a TV show.
That's true.
I feel like it's died down, though.
TV
I haven't
show.
heard that being used a lot lately.
Well, you haven't been in high school in a while.
That's
either,
true.
So
That's true.
Maybe
Kids these
those-
days are probably
there's
using
a
it.
The
lot
youth
of
are
other
still swinging.
buzzwords that have been taking place now.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
when people say things are like throw or
or
whatever, I don't even know what
trill.
that means. Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Fam. Hey.
Epic.
Fam. I've heard fam.
I used to call Josue fam as a joke, and now
Name
I say
drop
that
him.
all the time.
Name drop.
What's my friend? I can say my friend's
I
name.
think that's how a lot of words actually become popular. Like, I say bro all the time. Me saying bro all the time stemmed from me and two other friends making fun of people who say
Yeah.
bro all the time. So we would say it ironically, and now I'm just like, bro. Like, I don't even say it ironically anymore.
Or now it's like the uprising of the word bruh, bruh, bruh,
Bruh.
like all the time.
Bruh.
God.
B-R-U-H.
I'll never say that.
Bruh. Bro, you gotta say bro.
That's a social disorder right there. You're sitting there saying bruh.
So what you guys are saying is that neither of you actually have mental disorders.
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I would not self-diagnose myself with any mental disorder because I'm not aware of anything I do
Yeah.
that
But
affects my daily
you guys
life.
both agreed that everybody has some sort of mental disorder.
Well, they do. It's just whether they can self-diagnose themselves, whether they know it or not. I may have
Yeah.
something. I
Oh,
just
really?
don't know it yet.
So you say
I don't
that
even
everyone has a mental disorder and everyone should go to a doctor and get diagnosed to some extent. Or maybe they should only get diagnosed if it's affecting their daily life and they need to figure out the issue.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying. Like, it may be technically a disorder, but it's not. If it's not disordering you,
Right.
you know what I mean?
I know
That
what you
makes
mean.
sense. Yes.
There's degrees of, there's degrees of the disorder. So
Mm.
if it's mild enough,
Yeah, if it's not crippling you.
Yeah, if it's not like Diablo disorder or something.
What?
if it's just if it's
He said
causing-
if it's mild enough, so I was making a
Oh.
hot sauce reference. Cause
I thought you were trying to buy Diablo the game.
No,
Yeah,
no,
me too.
No.
I was like,
Diablo
if
3.
you have Diablo disorder, you just chill in your room and play Diablo for 3 hours.
Nah.
Well, I think we've covered everything.
I mean, yeah,
Everything.
basically. I can't think of anything
No,
else.
literally.
Shut up. Literally the universe. This was the last TCO episode, guys.
We've talked about everything
Yeah.
that we could
We've been
possibly
doing this
have.
episode. We've been doing the show for 3 whole weeks now. Can you believe it? 21.
That's cool.
We're old enough to drink, dude.
I am.
Are you 21?
I am.
Oh, okay.
How do you not know that?
I have been for several.
No,
Actually, I've
your
known that
friend
he
knew
was. I've known that I knew that he was like a year older than me. It just, I don't know, it didn't click for some reason.
I have been for several months.
I'm proud of you. Good job. Good
Thanks.
job getting to 21 without dying, man.
Or pregnant.
That's true. It's a hard stretch. I mean,
That's like if you. Those are the keys to really being successful.
don't die and don't get pregnant.
And,
Yeah.
and practice your chords.
I tell everyone, don't die, don't get pregnant, practice your chords, and feed your horses. That's all I tell them. Like, those 4 things you really gotta do.
That's
Nothing
the
more important.
foundation of success.
It's true. We are clearly successful. If you want to be as successful as the 3 guys on the TCO show right now, those are the 4 things you need to
Well,
do.
at the least, we're not total failures.
I mean,
I got
you
something
guys
going
might
for
be.
me. Hey, I don't know. You make more money than me right now.
I do.
Yeah,
What do you make?
like $7.90 an hour.
I thought you got just promoted.
Not yet. I haven't gotten the raise part of it yet until
Oh.
I officially take over.
Okay,
But when
yeah,
I
do
do, I'll
make
be,
more
I'll be
money.
getting like $13.50.
Even then, I still might be making more of you because yours gets taxed and mine doesn't. But it'd probably be pretty close.
I'm just gonna go quit and be a freaking pizza driver, man. I got a pretty nice car. It's fast.
Hey,
12
dude,
miles.
let's start up that business. Let's make an MP3 player.
Hey, you know what y'all should do?
Mental disorder's
Start up a
over.
business.
It's just casual talking now. What?
There's an idea.
What?
You've heard of Uber, right?
I literally
I'm not
just
old
thought
enough.
about that today, and you did too because you saw the Reddit thread about Uber, didn't you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to be an Uber
What
driver.
was
But
the
you're not
thread about?
21.
I'm not 21, and
That
my
pissed
car
me off.
is 1 year too old. Your car has to be 2005 or newer.
Mm.
I have
No,
an
you
04.
don't make a lot of money on Uber.
You
As
make
a driver.
a solid amount, like.
What
It
was
depends
the-
where you are, man. If you're downtown Houston, like, man, that blows up. If you live in LA or something, like, yeah, you're
If
making
you're
money.
actually doing it the same amount of time as like a full-time job, you will make solid money.
I've heard that you don't make. I don't know. I just heard you don't make a lot of money.
I mean, it probably depends on the area.
But so Uber is the one. Yeah. So Uber's the one where it's like just random people picking you up and dropping you off places,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Okay. Well.
Sort of random.
Yeah.
They do background checks and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Well, have you heard of Airbnb?
I've not.
Okay. It's almost exactly like Uber, except instead of cab services, it's hotel services.
Okay.
So
So
it's
it's
random.
like people let you stay at their house.
Yeah, if you've got a spare bedroom or you've got like a
That's kind of cool.
house that you rent out,
hmm
you can sign up on there and people can rent out that space
That's a little creepier.
for like a weekend or a day or a night or whatever. You know what I mean?
hmm
And that's kind of like hostels in Europe. Pretty much.
The horror
No,
franchise.
no, no. Have you ever seen those? Do you know what a hostel actually is?
Is it like a hotel but more European?
It's just like a place for like students and like people that are passing through the areas just to stay for like one night.
Mm.
So it's a hotel.
Sort of,
What's the
but they're a
difference?
little smaller. They're like, instead of being like owned by a company or whatever, it's usually owned by a person or a family.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is like that. Yeah. But so you sign up. You look at the rooms that are available for the times that you're going to be there, and you sign up. But it's somebody's house or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Here's the thing. Something. Okay,
Murderers.
we come up with an app like Lyft. I mean Uber. Lyft is the one where they actually have cars. Like Uber, but they deliver.
Uber has a version where they actually have cars. It's called like Uber Deluxe or something, and they provide
really?
like limos or something.
Well, there's a company called Lyft where that's all they do. They have they
Okay.
own like these hybrids that are just parked in random places.
Mm-hmm.
You go pick it up. The car unlocks via your phone.
Yeah, you like rent the car pretty much, and then
That's
drop it off.
awesome.
For like an
Yeah.
hour, or you could do like 1 hour, 12 hours, 24 hours.
That only works in like downtown cities.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, where you can get to the car.
I've seen those downtown before.
I think they're mostly used on campuses, college campuses.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the most efficient, because the
Mhm.
car can be right there on campus. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But okay, so here's the thing. Like Uber, but fast food delivery.
They already have that. It's called yeah.
Dang it!
I was looking at jobs on Craigslist before just to see what was up,
Uh-huh.
and I saw it was like a food delivery where people would go online and they're like, "Man, I really want some Papacitos Mexican food, right?" And you working for it was like Space Center like food delivery or whatever, and then you get the order, you go and get it at the restaurant, and then you bring it to the person's house, or the same thing for like Whataburger or any restaurant. Yeah, it already exists. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. This is so anyone can sign up to deliver?
Yes. Yes. It's like an Uber for it.
That's so good.
You heard my business.
What's it called?
I need to look it up. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, so it's like a local thing. Is it a website that you go to, or is it like an app, or what?
Why are you gonna sign up for that, Josiah?
No, I'm just wondering like
Don't
how
put that
there's.
would be a job to like deliver people non-deliverable food.
I'm just wondering like what. I'm just wondering
That would
what
be
the
exactly
prices
the
are.
same as my job, except the food is different. So.
Well, no. See, you'd go into different places. See, the thing about this is, that what I thought would be an advantage to this sort of system is, you could look if you could search by restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and so you deliver wherever you're already going to eat.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally just an extra stop on the way back.
Right. I get that.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand. Yeah.
Okay,
Makes
check
sense.
this out though. I heard
Just
about
free
this.
money.
There is this company that's exactly like this, except it's for groceries and it's in Austin.
They have that here too.
What's it called?
It's called the grocery station. They come and they shop for people at Kroger where I work all the time.
Wait, is it like an app?
No, it's a website and a company.
Oh, okay. This is like an Uber thing where anyone can sign up.
It's a little different though, because like I mean, someone has to have the money to do that, to buy your groceries, and then first to give them to you. And what if someone does? Then you're like, just kidding, I don't want groceries.
No. The thing is,
Slap with a $200
oh no. You don't. You get paid up front.
Okay.
Mm.
So like when the way it works is like the app will generate a barcode that scans like a gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's cool.
And so you
can only spend the money on the food.
yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so like whenever I was listening to somebody talk about it, and they were like, you can put down like you can select like if they don't have the item you want, get the next closest thing, or you can put your number in there and have the person call you and ask you.
Man, how lazy is that though? Like, just go to the friggin' store and get your groceries, man.
That's pretty crazy.
We are enabling fat people. We don't wanna
Dude,
do that.
man, can we do an episode on fat people?
We already did.
Dang
We
it,
did?
I missed out on
The
that.
health episode.
I'm the social. I am the fat person expert,
Are you?
being not fat.
I mean,
Yeah, how could you
I
get
told you
expert on
you're
fat
you're
people?
viable for
Fat.
guests in a lot of areas. I mean, you're pretty experienced. I mean, you can be on more episodes if you want.
Dude, I saw
That's
this
dope.
Reddit post about this lady who she didn't move off of this couch for 2 years,
Ew.
I saw the episode about that.
and her skin had been
That was
Like grafted
that was
into
on,
the
that was on the
couch.
episode of Nip Tuck. If you've ever seen that show, it's a plastic
that's
surgery
not
show.
that's a fake show. Though.
Yeah, but that exact case was on that show. I remember there was a lady that hadn't moved from her couch in forever, and the leather couch had grafted to her skin, and they were trying to get it off of her, but they had to pump her up with so much like anesthetic because she was so fat. She eventually died while he was in mid procedure. But like,
How do you even do that? Do you just like have a dump bucket? Like
no, she just pissed and shit where she was sitting. Sorry.
I didn't even catch it. Language.
But she did that where she was sitting, and it made like a liquid barrier between her and the couch, and then that fused together, and yeah,
That's really disgusting.
it was pretty
Fat
gross.
people are gross.
Nip Tuck is a pretty
I want
gross
to go
show,
on
but it's
fat
pretty
people
good.
hate right now.
Fat Shame Friday.
Oh man, that's.
That's pretty bad. All right, so can we talk about Ultron now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
you want to? Have you seen it?
Yes,
He
I
went
went
with me
him to
actually.
see it.
Oh,
Although
okay, cool.
he hasn't seen all the other Marvel movies.
Oh.
I've seen some. I haven't seen any of the Captain America movies, and I haven't seen the
Captain America 2 is the best
You're
one.
missing
Yeah, Winter
out.
Soldier is supposed to be like the best
It's
Marvel
the best. It's the
film.
best one.
Kind of is.
I've
yeah.
seen all the Iron Man ones. I haven't seen all the Thor ones.
Both of the Thors are the worst ones. Thor sucks.
They're
I like
not
Thor,
bad.
The first one.
Thor 1 was awful.
Dude,
Thor
I hate
1 is so terrible.
Why?
I like this another.
I've seen it like 2 or 3 times and I cannot stand that movie.
Well, if it's
so
so
boring.
bad, why'd you watch it?
Yeah, why'd you watch it 2 or 3 times?
Because it comes on TV and stuff.
Oh, change channel, man.
Yeah, nobody made you watch it.
It's true.
Still, you
It's,
chose.
it's,
You opted
pretty,
in.
it's pretty bad, dude. Like,
I think it's pretty good because Thor's the most unrelatable character out of all of them, and like
Kinda.
they did their
He's not
best with
human.
what they had.
that's true. Nowadays, though, he's just like.
He's got one of the most unchanging like backstories,
hmm
like origin stories. So they did a
'cause
pretty
it's
good
based on
job.
like real myth.
I mean, the beginning of Thor 1 was super intense and awesome, like when they're fighting the ice giants and stuff. That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
And then, like, the whole rest of the movie is him talking, and I'm like, when is actually going on in this movie? And then, like, what was the big robot called? The Destroyer or something? Like,
yeah, not a robot. But yeah.
yeah, whatever. The Destroyer comes, and they deal with that, and that's about it. And we see Hawkeye, right? And that's about it. We do
Oh,
see
yeah.
Hawkeye, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't fire any arrows.
Yeah. But that, I don't know if everyone knew at the time that it was Hawkeye, but
Oh, I totally did when he
Well, of
grabbed
course
that
you
bow.
of course you did,
Come
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
He should have gotten fired for that though.
So Ultron. The
Yeah,
movie.
it's weird that they never talked about that. How Hawkeye and Thor were never like, "Hey, you pointed an arrow at me."
Yeah.
They don't have much dialogue between each other. I'm looking at the poster.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, that's true. But
I'm pointing
Hawkeye,
it away from him now.
Hawkeye they never really explain how or why that's allowed.
Why Hawkeye was allowed to aim at Thor? Or?
No, why he uses arrows only?
Oh.
Yeah, he even said that like in the Ultron movie. He was like, I know this doesn't make any sense right now, and I'm firing arrows, but this is
Yeah.
my job, and blah
Like
blah
the
blah.
city is flying.
Oh, by the way, Ultron spoilers.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
spoilers if
that
you
feels
haven't
like
seen
that shouldn't need to be said, but Ultron spoilers.
It was
It's
great,
Avengers
dude.
2, Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So dope.
I mean, isn't his thing like he's never supposed to miss a shot or something? Or is that Green Arrow?
No. Neither.
Wrong
Well,
universe.
Sometimes he'll have like perfect aim no matter what.
Right.
But I think
He's got some like insane aim though. There's something to
yeah,
him.
at
really
the end of
good.
Avengers 1, he's making some crazy trick shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even in Ultron, he was like, I was like, wow, he's like hitting really far away, spot on forehead.
Dude, he was
Yeah.
in Ultron. He pulled some Legolas stuff. Remember when Scarlet Witch is behind him and he straight up grabs the arrow and just like stabs her in
that
the
was
head with
so
the arrow.
awesome.
That was
how
like
could,
Legolas
How could he
stuff right
sense
there.
that though? Like not even Thor could sense
He
that.
just
I don't know.
hurt him.
Yeah, I guess he
I
just hurt her.
guess.
And I didn't understand with Thor because like she tried to do it to him, and he was like, "Hey, everybody, watch out! She's totally trying to do this to you." And then like walks into his own delusion, like, "Oh."
Yeah, I don't know if he actually said that to him or not, or if he like was already.
He was just thinking that.
Yeah. Because I don't know if anyone heard him say it or.
Yeah, because he gets into the ego and he's like, "Now my strong Norse mind would not get."
I thought maybe he would know what's going on because like she's like supposed to be doing magic and he kind of knows about magic and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was like, heck yeah, he didn't get affected, and then he walked into
Yeah.
like gold party room, and
Maybe
I was like,
his
no, he got
hammer is
affected.
protecting him or something.
I thought it was really awesome how they brought like a character from every single movie. Like even the gatekeeper or whatever was in Thor's vision. I don't know the guy's name.
Yeah.
Heimdall.
Yeah. Like even he was in there. It's like at the party we saw Falcon, who doesn't come till way later. Speaking of that, why wasn't Falcon anywhere? Like at the time I didn't think about it, but I mean if War Machine showed up with Nick Fury, you would think Falcon would show up too.
Well,
I like
him,
that War Machine showed up. That was cool.
him and Captain America were looking for Bucky. I think that implied that he went back to run down leads again.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't he say something about running down leads, right?
Okay, maybe, yeah. Cause we saw him at the party. Yeah.
I wish Bruce Banner had a better role in the Age of Ultron. I know he was there and he had his fling with Scarlett Johansson, and you know they were doing their whatever, like a love triangle or not love triangle, but you
Yeah.
know they're like let's
Bruce, Black Widow, and
just
the Hulk.
run away.
That's
from the
actually
whole-
true. They kind of did.
But like,
It wasn't really like a love.
but it's like in the first one, you know, Hulk was like BA. Like he had that scene where he was like, you know,
BA.
it's time to get angry, and he's like, that's my secret. I'm always angry.
Yes.
And, like,
Yeah.
Hulk shifts and
I like the new Hulk because it's reminiscent of the 2008 one, right?
A little bit, but I like the fact, like I liked in Avengers, because I thought in Avengers 1, they were suggesting that like he's basically got control over it,
Mm-hmm.
like almost completely.
And now he doesn't.
But then they kind of sort of scaled it back where it's like he can turn into Hulk on command, but he can't go back into Bruce Banner on command.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, that's...
unless Scarlett Johansson
He still
coax him.
Yeah, she does a lullaby or whatever.
Well, she never sings.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that too.
Why did they
because
call
all
it
she
that?
does is like come up to him and like
She
touch
says
his
like a
hand.
poem or something.
I thought she just did like a one line.
Yeah,
too.
she barely says anything.
She's like, hey, the sun's going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Like she's like sun's going down, big guy, and then like
they
touches his hand, and then he's like grunts
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
goes back to normal.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, I liked it better when he was like, well, I guess it was just, I think it's because they don't know what they want to do with him yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they want to give him his own movie or have him show up in
They
another
need.
movie.
Well, I mean, it would make sense to give him his own movie now because they're going to make everybody else their own.
I mean,
Yeah, but
he's
apparently
gonna come probably like halfway through Civil War, right?
I don't know.
That's what
I
I'm
doubt
thinking.
it. I doubt it.
Really?
I doubt they'll want to introduce like a somebody that powerful into the mix.
Well, what I was thinking is like, you know, everyone's like he is part of the cause for the Civil War. Like, I mean, not comic book wise, but Civil War starts because like civilization is having issues with superheroes, and the fact that in Ultron he ended up like wrecking a whole city and killing people, and people
yeah.
didn't know that it was
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch. Probably is part of the stimulus for where Civil War starts.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so what I'm thinking is like he'll
Wait.
probably show his face at Civil War like towards the end or something.
The Civil War takes place after Ultron.
Yes.
Okay.
The movies sort of take
It's
place.
Captain America 3.
Right.
Well, it's yeah, it is.
It's technically, but
it's
there's
called
gonna be-
Captain America: Civil War.
Right.
I feel like I need to go watch the Captain America movies. 'Cause I haven't
Captain
seen
America
them.
2 is fantastic.
Yeah,
What about the first one?
it's okay.
It's just okay, yeah.
I mean, it'll
Can I skip
definitely.
the first one and watch the second one, or will it not make
Yes,
sense?
you
Yeah,
actually can
you
because
can,
the
you
second
totally
one gives
can,
the
yeah.
whole backstory.
Yeah,
No
I
one
will.
needs to watch Captain
Like,
America
if you
1.
watch them in the order that they came out in, then it would feel like a natural progression. But since you've already seen
Ultron.
a lot of these more current ones, then it'll feel like a big step back.
Mm-hmm.
Except with like Guardians of the Galaxy, which technically, I mean, is part of the universe, but it's not actually related to anything yet. Which, I have a question about that.
Okay.
Is Guardians of the Galaxy, does that happen the same years that we're in now, or is that like in the future?
Or is that like an alternate universe?
Because
If
there's
you go
some...
by, okay, so the Marvel movies technically, so far, they take place in the order that they come out in.
Okay.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
right,
So Iron Man 1, the events of Iron Man 1 happened first.
right.
Hulk happened after that, because remember in Incredible Hulk, Tony comes to see General Ross at the very end,
Yes.
and he knows about the Avengers Initiative. Which he
Didn't
learned about
both
from
of
Nick
those
Fury
come
in the
out
first
like at the exact same time?
They came out the same summer.
Okay. Yeah.
And doesn't the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually play into it too?
Wow.
It's technically in the same universe, but the director of the first two Avengers movies said that, as far as he's concerned,
No.
it's not. And
I remember someone posted
Daredevil's
like,
part of
so-
the MCU too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
look, well, the guy, the main producer on all these movies, Kevin Feige, has said that the TV division is a separate department, and like he's not over that, and he's the one who makes sure that all these movies are like following the same continuity and stuff, and so the TV shows are technically in the same continuity, but they don't.
It's not one S.H.I.E.L.D. chick in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at all.
Which one?
Like the main one who's always like at the command of the ships and stuff. I don't know
Oh,
her name.
Maria Hill.
Yeah,
Colby
yeah.
Smulders, the one from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
She has been in an episode.
Okay.
Or
I figured she
maybe
would be
two.
like a main character or something. Because I remember when they were talking about Avengers, they were talking about her like as if she's the main character, and I was like, now that I've seen it, I'm thinking like, I don't remember seeing her that much. Like, she's not that important of a character.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I didn't even know her name, like, I recognize her. I recognize that she's been in several of the movies, but...
She's been in 3 movies.
Is Deadpool part
Captain
of
America
the
2,
Marvel universe?
or...
Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Will he ever be?
Probably not. See, so they're owned by the movie rights have been split up in between different studios.
Yes, is that why we're not seeing like Wolverine or anything?
Yeah,
Yes.
so X-Men and all those affiliated characters are owned by Fox. And Disney.
Fox, you ruin everything.
Disney owns
They do.
mostly of. No, man, you don't want the X-Men universe being folded into this universe.
That's true.
too much
The
going on.
X-Men has gone crazy.
Yeah.
But
Plus, it wouldn't make sense because like you got mutants, which are basically superheroes, but everyone's cool with the Avengers.
But not
That's
everyone's
true.
cool with the mutants.
well,
Yeah,
which is
that wouldn't make any
what's
sense.
funny about that though is we got Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch now, which
that's
Were
because
are X-Men.
that's because there's a weird team affiliation. Those characters are affiliated with both, so the movie
Right.
rights are sort of like they have like dual citizenship.
Wait, is Scarlet Witch in the X-Men series too?
Yeah,
Okay.
those twins are Magneto's kids in the comics.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they're mutants. But because they don't own the rights to X-Men, they can't say mutants, they can't say X-Men, they can't say Magneto, anything.
I heard Quicksilver in the X-Men universe kind of sucks though. Is that true?
He's way better than this Quicksilver.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Does he wear Adidas himself? The same hair?
No. That movie takes place in the 80s, so he's like an 80s dude.
That makes sense.
But he's way better. He's like a teenager.
I like this Quicksilver.
It's okay. Well, that's because they're so metal.
He didn't have much personality.
They didn't give
But-
him a lot of
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah,
He
but
probably had more that got cut because the movie was so long.
Yeah, no, that was a long movie. I didn't even realize it though, but like after I left the theater,
Yeah, it was like
wow,
two,
that was
just like
pretty long.
2 hours 20 minutes.
Yeah, almost 2.5 hours.
wasn't Captain America 2 about that long though too?
I think it was like 2 hours. Yeah,
But
it's a minute shorter than the first Avengers movie.
but back to Guardians. So has Guardians happened in the same timeline?
Yeah, if it follows the same pattern, we can assume that it happens after Captain America 2.
There's weird issues there with like why are there humans in space though? Like those humans
They might not be humans.
aren't they referred to as like Terran though?
Oh yeah, and they know that certain humans are from Earth, right?
Yeah, why?
Because Peter Quill.
Yeah, why is Peter Quill? Why has
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy? Oh.
Why has Peter Quill never gone back to Earth?
Dude, that's a great question. Nobody knows.
Okay, like
Because he has a spaceship.
yeah, he does,
Also-
and in Guardians, he names people like movie actors and stuff from Earth that aren't on his audio thing. It's like, how do you know those
Oh
people?
yeah, he references things that happened after he left Earth.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get how. Guardians 2 will probably have to explain all that again.
Also,
Probably not.
will any kind of Guardians of the Galaxy movie ever intertwine with
Yes.
Avengers / whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's all setting
they're
up for.
directly
Thank God.
Avengers 3
Remember those-
is where it's all coming together.
Remember when Thor has that vision of the 4 stones?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
It's like the
cool.
main MacGuffin of that movie.
It
Well,
is.
that's cool.
That's where they're finally just like, look, everyone knows we're talking about the Infinity Stones. Let's just make a whole movie where, look, it's about an Infinity Stone.
So what Infinity Stones have
Where
have
with
been
Thor
revealed?
2, they didn't really explain that it was an Infinity Stone. 'Cause had no idea.
I think there's like some narration where he says like this is an Infinity Stone, but that's it.
Well, I know there's the Collector at the end of Thor 2, I think, and that's where we first see
Yeah, but at the
Scarlet
very
Witch and Quicksilver,
beginning,
but-
Anthony Hopkins is like narrating.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think he says something about the Infinity Stone.
Oh, okay.
What Infinity Stones have even been revealed so far?
We have 4 of
it's like
them.
the Power Stone.
Which are
Mind Gem.
what, the Power Stone was
Power
with
Stone's
what?
the one in
And
Guardians of the
purple.
Galaxy?
Yeah, you
Okay.
got the Yellow Mind Stone.
That was
You
that
got-
made
Avengers.
Vision.
You got the Red Ether, which was in Thor, and that's still
Thor
on
2.
Thor
It
2,
was.
which is on
Mhm.
Asgard. We don't know what that is. Maybe reality.
And the Tesseract.
And the Tesseract, which we think is the space gem, which lets you like move over.
Ooh.
Tesseract was in basically everything.
Captain America
It was
1,
Captain America
Avengers.
1 and Avengers 1, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there wasn't, man, I don't remember if they only talked about the Tesseract for a very small time in Avengers 1, right? It was just at the beginning when they were talking about Loki and stuff, right?
In Avengers 1?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. That's what they're all looking for. They have the Tesseract at the beginning, Loki takes it, then we gotta find Loki and he's like, oh, I'm not giving it up.
Oh, yeah.
So hold on, they
I was
pulled the
with the
mind gem
staff.
out of Loki's scepter. Did they even know it was there?
I
Or
don't
were
think
they
they
like
did.
it revealed itself?
No, we talked about this, right? Where in Avengers 1 they thought that Loki's scepter was powered by the Tesseract or
Yeah,
something?
because it was blue.
Yeah.
But it was actually like the yellow mind gem.
But there was the yellow mind gem underneath the blue, I guess.
Yeah. Which
It's all
that's
very
just a
complicated.
continuity error where they're just like, oh, we need to explain this or something.
I think they knew the Mind Stone was in there because I think it's implied that like the reason they're fighting in Avengers 1 in that lab. Remember when they're all arguing?
Oh right, and Loki is able to mind control like Hawkeye and everyone.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
and he can stab people and mind
Yeah.
because
Huh, I
the
didn't
mind
think
gem.
about
And
So-
I think Ultron does that too with it, doesn't he?
What?
Doesn't he stab somebody? Doesn't he stab the Asian scientist with the scepter, and her eyes go black?
I don't know if he stabs her, but he definitely does like mind control her. Yeah.
Or maybe that was. No, I think he uses the scepter because you see her eyes go black.
But I think he had already taken the stone out at that point.
I can't remember. I think it was before.
I don't know either.
But I wanted to ask, what was you guys' opinion of like the Vision being in the movie?
I liked him.
I thought he looked pretty cool. I think he was really.
I thought his look. I agree with what Jonathan said.
I thought his
where
creation was really vaguely defined.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I was asking him questions in the theater. I was like, okay, so he just got created. Why does he have like why is he not evil? Like why is he good?
It's because Jarvis was uploaded into him.
Okay, but he's not Jarvis.
He's not Jarvis.
I don't understand why he's not Jarvis.
Or does he have a Jarvis influence?
Well,
I don't understand why he's not just straight up Jarvis in a body.
He talks like Jarvis.
Yeah, but he says he's not.
polite like Jarvis.
He says he's not.
I'm
fully
sure
Jarvis.
the Mind Stone has something to do with that. Like, I'm sure the Mind Stone has some effect on the brain in some manner or something.
Well, they never in Ultron never explains why he puts the Mind Stone in there.
Right.
Is it for like power?
Yeah.
Is it going to like energize the body?
What I was thinking was because he was gonna make the body, right?
Yeah, maybe that makes sense. Maybe it is
And the
for,
Mind
like,
Stone was
power.
supposed to. Well, what if
That's what I was
what if the
thinking.
Mind Stone was supposed to be, like the personality and like the whole like actual person inside
Well, no,
the
he
body?
was-
Well, because
putting
Ultron was going to
Ultron-
upload himself.
Yeah, he
into
was
that
gonna.
body.
Ultron was gonna go into the vibranium-made body that had human cells in it.
Yes.
And vibranium.
Yeah. I don't know.
Which I don't understand. Does that mean that a Vision has to eat?
I don't know,
Ooh.
which I don't understand because when they made Vision,
Does he have an anatomical
it's
butt?
literally
Oh,
it's literally just a human in a costume when it comes to Vision. So, I mean, not in the movie, but
Yeah.
that is whoever it is that plays Jarvis.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah, that is him. Like that's his face we're seeing.
Yeah.
Which was weird. I mean, like, it literally just looked like an actor, and that kind of weirded me out. But
I thought it looked pretty good when they switched from CG Vision to real Vision. It looked pretty good. Plus, I like the fact that it wasn't another fully CG character because we already got Ultron, Iron Man is Iron Man, and well, basically everybody is CG when they're doing action scenes.
yeah.
But I like the fact that like you can get a close up of him and it'll be a real guy.
Wait, so does that mean like the Hulk gets like easy acting route because all he has to do is act like himself as Bruce Banner, and then when he goes into Hulk mode, he can just like go chill and like eat donuts and watch them?
No, I think he does the motion capture for it. Like he puts on the suit with like,
Oh,
the balls
really?
on it. Yeah.
And then
I
they
mean-
make him Hulk.
That makes sense. Like, look at the face of the Hulk. It looks like the actor.
Well, yeah,
Right.
like,
Well,
and you
that's-
can do that via animation.
I know,
Yeah.
but like when he's actually physically doing it, right? I guess that makes sense. When that dude played the dragon in Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Although the dragon did look a little bit like him. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, dude.
It was a straight up lizard
Benedict
face.
Cumberbatch. Yeah. What I'm saying is Benedict Cumberbatch is a dragon.
Well, what I'm saying is, yeah.
He looks like a lizard.
Oh, my
He
brother's.
does.
Maybe Ultron knew he could use the Mind Stone the way Vision does,
Mm-hmm.
but like my brother came up with this idea that like if you're not part human or part like actual living matter,
Mhm.
then you can't harness the power of the gem.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Because Ultron is just a straight up
robot. Yeah.
robot, and so that's why he can't use the gem. But when he gets into that body,
He could.
he'll be able to use it because it's part actual flesh.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because otherwise,
that's
he'd have
still
been like, man,
weird
screw
though
this
because
anybody,
like
I'm taking his mind, Jen. He's
they're
like,
not
Yeah, and
allowed
then I'll be
to-
able to use his power like
they're
the way
not
Vision-
allowed to like touch the gems though, so you'd think it would actually have a negative effect.
No, maybe I think it's just the Power Stone.
Just the Power Stone they can't touch.
What happens if you
I
touch
think
Power
so.
Stone?
Well, that's explaining Guardians.
Oh.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
I mean, because except Ronan touched it, but I think he was wearing like armor over his gloves or something, right?
Well, they say that like only beings of immense power can hold onto the stone.
Just
Right.
like Thor's hammer.
Well, anybody can touch it, but you'll just die.
Dude, I thought that was so cool when Vision picked up Thor's hammer.
Yeah, that was.
And he was just like, here you go. And he was like,
Well,
It brought so much meaning to like that whole scene of them trying to lift it, you know.
that was hilarious.
and it was a shock for most of us because I think most of us were expecting either Captain America or Black Widow to pick it up, right?
Captain
'Cause-
America
because
does
of it-
move it a little bit.
Captain America nudges it, and in the comics, doesn't he like grab it or something?
At one point, he can lift it. Yeah.
Right, and then Black Widow makes that comment of, "Oh, I don't need the answer to that question," and I think it was some people thought that was a subtle hint that she would be able to pick it up at some point.
It doesn't matter because she's not. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want to use it. She's got those cool stinger things.
Those new things that she has.
Yeah.
That was never explained. How like all of a sudden her body has like electrical lines running through it, and well, her suit.
They gotta beef it up for the posters.
I feel like that was like a ripoff of like.
Yeah, see,
DC
those weren't
versus
actually in the
Nightwing.
movie, were they? Those little like arm guards.
Yeah, she has those in the
Oh,
first
okay.
Avengers and Captain America too.
I mean, I definitely noticed like the blue lining and stuff that was there. That definitely wasn't
That's
there
comic book stuff. Those stingers that she has on her wrists.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
That's
But
cool.
anyway, still, Vision. Like I don't understand. Like they needed a reason. They were like, look, we don't want this guy to just be Jarvis in a body. We want him to have more personality, and be kind of a new character.
Which is weird
So,
though because I
we
think
need-
everyone.
We need to come up
times
with some
cool,
vague, ill-defined way to be like, oh, he's not actually Vision. He's kind of a new hybrid thing, and it's like that's why he's got his own personality and can make his own decisions and stuff.
Which I don't think is actually that good because I think, I mean, the only reason I knew about them uploading Jarvis to become Vision is because on your YouTube channel, you and Daniel Smith were talking about it, and I don't know the comics stuff. But when I found out, I was like, oh yeah, Jarvis became Vision. That's kind of awesome because everyone loves Jarvis already.
Yeah,
He's a developed character. Like,
Yeah.
although he's an AI, he's been in like
you kind of know what he's
he's
about.
said a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know.
I feel like Vision
I
should have
a
got
lot,
more
I
screen
think.
time than lines in the movie because they brought him in like Jesus or something, man. Like they brought him in like real hardcore. Like he was all created and like he was almost brought into the movie like a savior. Like he's gonna turn the tables and
I'm
flip
glad
this
he
whole
wasn't
situation
that
around.
strong though.
Really though, I kind of wish he was. Cause they I mean, and if
He's
he wasn't,
basically
they
powerful as Iron
shouldn't
Man.
they shouldn't have brought him in like that. Well, I mean,
I would say actually like, you know, when it comes to movies, they have to dumb down the power of characters a little bit. Like
Yeah, to
as you were
make
saying
tension.
with Quicksilver and stuff. Yeah, like really, statistically, like based on the stats of their armor and everything, Vision is much more powerful.
yeah.
He's made out of vibranium and
Yeah,
has
but
like
with
the
human
mind stuff.
cells, so that they can explain.
That's true.
They can work in some vulnerabilities.
Right,
That's
but
true.
so like statistically, the Vision could beat the crap out of any other Avenger.
Maybe not Hulk.
Yeah, I don't think even because I mean,
Everyone
he
has
like
issues fighting
trashed, dude.
Hulk.
He like trashed Loki.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this, but there were some quick action scenes where Vision is like, can density shift and like put his hands through things.
I don't think
What?
I noticed
There's
that.
a few scenes I noticed it the second time I saw it, but like he puts his hands through a robot, and then like rips them out.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
and in the comics
That was
he can
cool.
like walk through walls and stuff. And do
That's
that.
neato.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Imagine.
he could kind of rip the whole card out of his body.
Which I mean, with the stone.
Or he could just like
Avengers 3.
Vision.
Are we just gonna lose Vision? Like, did they do that whole build up just to kill off Vision?
No way.
The
Well, they're
question
gonna-
is whether or not he can survive without the stone.
Well, here's the thing: Joss Whedon has killed off a character in every movie that he's ever directed.
Wait, really?
Really?
Yeah,
Who do you
Wait,
lose
who did
from
we-
1 to 2?
Avengers
Yeah.
1, who died?
Coulson,
Oh yeah! Holy
Who?
crap!
the one of the head Shield agents. Coulson.
Oh.
He like
He's
legit
the main
died
guy in the TV
too.
show.
Oh.
You're saying, but everyone loved him. Everyone
Yeah,
was sad
yeah.
when he died. I remember that.
I thought it was somebody relevant, like I like viewer relevant, like if Nick Fury died.
Well,
Or, like if,
Coulson was in it like he was in like Iron Man 1.
yeah.
I think he was in Iron Man 2.
He wasn't in Iron Man 1.
He was in Thor.
He was in Iron Man 2, not
He
1.
was in Iron Man 1.
At the end of 1 is when Nick Fury shows up for the
Yeah,
first time.
but he shows up like several times and he's like, oh, I need an appointment with Tony Stark to debrief.
Oh, that guy!
Mm-hmm. It's in Iron Man 1.
Oh, okay.
I wish
You
he
see
didn't
him
die.
once at the press conference right after he comes out of captivity, and then you see him once at like a party, like a ball, like a gala. He comes up to Tony Stark and he's like,
Yeah,
Hey,
he's explaining his name and like, it's sure as a mouthful, man.
he's like, yeah,
He's
some
like, "Yeah, we're working
strategic
on it."
homeland intervention and logistics division or whatever.
Hmm.
And Tony's like, oh, that's cool. I don't care about you because I'm cool.
That's Tony.
Yeah. You don't remember that?
Not really.
I
And then at
actually remember that.
And then at the very end, he shows up again, and he's like, oh, you Agent Coulson of the Strategic Homeland. He's like, you can just call it S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a lot better.
I remember that, man, like 7 years ago when
Yeah,
when Nick
cool.
Fury first shows up in the Iron Man, everyone's like, what? That was awesome.
So awesome.
That was awesome. Nowadays, our spoiler alert at the end of Ultron, we just get, oh look, it's Thanos grabbing the
It's the
Infinity
guy
Gun.
from the first post-credit scene of Avengers.
We already know that Thanos is grabbing the Infinity Gauntlet. We already know what Avengers 3 is about. Let's just have more about him.
Now, if you notice, that and Gauntlet is in Thor 1, and all the stones are in it.
Yep.
But
We've
this
talked
was a
about this.
left-handed Gauntlet, while that was a right-handed Gauntlet.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember reading someone was like, is there 2 Infinity Gauntlets?
There is.
Are there 8 stones?
I don't know.
There's
how
a
they're
total
gonna
of
explain
6
this away.
stones.
There's 6 stones per glove.
We've only seen 4 so far.
So
There's-
I'm guessing we're going to see the next 2 in the Avengers 3.
Probably Thor 3 and
Guardians 2,
Guardians
maybe?
2, yeah.
Ah, man, they can't keep pulling this like every movie's about a stone.
Are they going to put
Well,
a
they
stone
kind
in
of have
Civil-
to.
It's gonna
But
be
I mean,
boring.
think about it. Look, we have Ant-Man, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's like just that, right? We have Ant-Man, Thor 3, Captain America 3, and then like Avengers 3, right?
No, there's a bunch of
Guardians 2.
Is
You
Ant-Man
got
going to be
Guardians 2,
relevant
you got
to...
Captain Marvel, you got Black Panther.
We're getting
You
the
got
Black Panther
Doctor
movie
Strange.
before that? Oh, I forgot about Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot they mentioned him in Captain 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Hey, wait, is Ant-Man going to be relevant to the Avengers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's a founding Avengers.
I mean, I think the reason we're getting all the singular movies is because Thanos with all the Infinity Stones is quite the force.
That's why Avengers 3 is going to be a part 1 and a part 2.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how they're supposed to explain where have these characters been this whole time.
Dude, they just don't. They're like, you know what?
Screw it.
Don't worry about
Well,
it.
they
Yeah,
sort of
don't worry
don't.
about
Well,
it.
some of them they're giving origin stories to. Like Ant-Man, we get an origin story to, so we don't have to.
Well, no, I think. Well, what I was referring to was the fact that like, when they split up into their individual movies, there are some characters that you really should be seeing, like that should show up.
Aren't they bringing
Oh.
in Spider-Man?
They
yes.
So how? Yeah.
They
so
reference
how are
them,
they?
though,
Okay, so
so-
they've been in New York and they've trashed New York.
Yeah.
Yes, we've
But
talked about
Spider-Man lives in New York,
It's a Spider-
man.
they're rebooting Spider-Man, so when you see him for the first time, that'll
It's
be the
not
first
gonna be
time ever.
relevant
but
off of any of
it's
the
going to
other
be a
two
new
ones.
new actor.
A new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Richard
in a new
Garfield's
version.
Robert.
They can't keep factory resetting Spider-Man, okay?
Oh, they will.
I like
mean-
OG.
I think it's
Spider-Man,
cool. Like
first one.
the question is like, what kind of Spider-Man are we gonna get? Are we gonna get like a fresh out of high school one? Or are we
Yeah,
gonna
that's
get
what they
an
said,
older
yeah.
one? They said fresh out of high school.
No. He's going to be in high school.
Really?
So just like the first
that's,
one, then.
That's actually cool because I mean, a younger one joining the Avengers is gonna be cool.
Yeah, in both versions, every version, like they get him out of high school really quick,
Right. They
and
do.
it's like there's a lot of fertile storytelling you could do like in high school. Okay, so yeah, we got Captain America: Civil War next year, May 2016.
So far.
Then
Well, we have Ant-Man and there's something else coming out.
oh yeah,
at the end of
Ant-Man
right?
this year.
Oh, we have Star Wars at the end of this year. That'll keep us. That'll keep us entertained.
Dude, okay, if you want to name off movies that aren't in this continuity that are comic book movies, I could do that too.
Shut up.
Seriously, Ant-Man, Fantastic Four this year.
Fantastic
Oh, yeah.
Four, no kidding.
February next year, Deadpool. Batman vs. Superman in March.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Captain America Civil War. X-Men Apocalypse.
Nah.
Suicide Squad.
No.
Oh yes, please.
No.
Sinister.
I have like no reason to go see that.
Sinister Six isn't happening, right?
Yeah, that's up in the air.
That's gotta be scrapped if they're scrapping Richard Garfield.
Who's Richard Garfield?
Or not Richard Garfield. Who was Spider-Man in Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Who's Richard Garfield?
I have no idea.
I didn't like
He's
Andrew
the
Garfield's
designer
Spider-Man,
for
dude.
some like.
Sounds
Game
like
or
his name
something.
should be on some clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrew Garfield.
Suicide Squad, Sinister Six.
Anyways, he's Sinister
Doctor
Six probably isn't
Strange, Gambit at some point in 2006.
happening. Doctor Strange is happening next year?
November 6, 2016. That's what
Oh,
it
Man,
says.
they're working
sweet.
hard.
Then 2017, Guardians 2. And then Thor Ragnarok. And then...
Thor 3 happens after Guardians 2?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
And then the next movie is 2018, Avengers Infinity War Part 1.
Right.
Oh, and then Black Panther.
Wait, we're not getting a new Avengers movie till 2018?
Yeah, but you'll have a lot. Well, see, these
That's
these
still
next
3 years. Avengers 1 came out 2012, dude.
these next solo movies are gonna feel a lot like Avengers 2.5.
Okay, good.
You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Because like Civil War is gonna have a lot of characters.
Civil War's probably gonna have like almost everyone.
That's the
Plus
reason.
Spider-Man.
Well, that's the reason why
Really?
that's the reason why they needed to add a bunch of characters into this movie,
Mm-hmm.
because they need characters to pick sides to make it feel like an actual war. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like people are gonna be choosing sides, like Team Captain America, Team Iron Man,
Oh, that's
Right.
so cool.
to fight, and you need like a lot of characters like Nick Fury, Maria Hill, Scarlett Johansson, Scarlet Witch,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Mackie, you know, Vision. I wonder what side Vision's gonna take.
Ooh, that's cool. He's probably gonna go with Iron Man because he made him.
I was gonna say you'd go with Cap.
Vision?
Yeah.
Possibly. What's
I don't- yeah,
What's the
well,
main dispute that makes them even split up anyway?
Well, in the comic books, it's about secret identities, and the government wants all the superheroes to reveal
Which
their
isn't
identities.
actually
And
can't
Tony
be the
Stark's like,
movie
no.
because in the movie everyone basically knows who everyone is, right?
Yeah,
there's this-
everyone knows who Tony Stark is.
I think it'll be more
Thor
like
is himself.
Thor's
Yeah,
Captain
literally
America's
Thor.
himself.
everyone knows who Bruce Banner is also.
Yes.
actually.
So I mean, like, good luck with that.
I mean, Hawkeye and Black Widow are probably still a little bit secret.
Well, no, Black Widow, remember at the end of Cap 2, she's at a Senate hearing or something.
Is she?
Yeah, she's like at a press conference or something,
I-
talking
I-
about what she's been
Yeah,
doing.
I don't know. Hawkeye.
Because she
is.
releases all the S.H.I.E.L.D. secrets.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. Spoiler alert. There's some Shield issues in Cap 2.
Oh, but
You need to
anyway-
watch Cap 2. That's a good movie.
But anyway, no, this is probably going to be more like a registration thing where they're like, because you know how at the end of Avengers 2, they're kind of like, they've got their own thing going on where they're training people and they're running missions themselves,
Mm-hmm.
totally separate of S.H.I.E.L.D. and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
I think Shield didn't exist anymore, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Still, they're flying ship. And
I
Nick
mean,
Fury. So
if
what's
you-
going on?
No,
you-
no,
if you
that
watch
was
the-
that was a surprise that they even had a ship. Remember, Cap said that's what it's supposed to be or something.
Yeah. You see that? That's what Shield's supposed to.
But well, if you watch the show, S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of splinters and there's kind of like different factions and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
There's a lot of stuff going on with that. But it basically the Avengers are now separate from S.H.I.E.L.D. Right? At the
Mhm.
end, that's what they imply at the end of. They got their own facility and they're training people,
Yeah.
right?
Funded
so, like,
by Tony Stark, run by Captain America, right?
Yeah, basically. And they're doing research and all kinds of stuff too, because Selvig is there, the doctor. But anyway, so this is probably going to be more like, okay, you know what? We want superheroes back working for a government agency again. So no superheroing on your own anymore.
Oh,
Is
and then
probably what it's
Captain
going to be like.
America's like.
And
yes.
Captain America's going to be like, we tried that once, it didn't work out. Let's keep it separate. And Tony Stark's going to be like, yo man, we've made a lot of mistakes.
Why would Tony Stark be pro government?
Well, because like he may not actually believe in it at first, but he'll probably want to go along with it because he feels like he's made a lot of mistakes.
Like
Yeah,
creating
he's-
Ultron?
he's-
Creating Ultron and
I mean, you've seen Iron Man 3. Like, there's been after Avengers 1, Tony is just, he's dead inside, man. He's had so many issues, I think.
yeah, so that's probably why. And Captain America will be like, no, we already tried this. You know, we can't.
Wait, when did they try this?
I mean, that's what Avengers 1 was. You know,
When they were with Shield.
they're all working for Shield and stuff. Yeah,
Oh.
but then certain things are revealed in
Cap 2,
Captain America 2.
which, no spoiler alert.
And they're like, this is, and then that's why Captain America will be like, nah, you know.
And that's good. I mean,
So at the end of Civil War, are they gonna be like, okay, that was done, let's work together again?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure, everything will
Let's
be
do it-
resolved.
Let's do
and
the
they'll-
bigger issue.
maybe not.
It
Avengers
might not get
3
resolved until-
could have some like banter about it or something.
It might not get resolved until Avengers 3, where they're like, there's this bigger issue at hand here. We need to.
Which everyone knows about. Everyone knows there's a bigger issue, but
They're still gonna have
No, they don't know
Thanos.
specifically. What
Okay,
Thanos is out
they don't
there.
know Thanos, but like
Or
even
even
Tony is talking about like, look, there's aliens out there. I went through a portal. I see what's going on. And
Yeah, but it's more like vague. Like this could potentially happen again. Not like I've got intel that suggests.
there is some continuity issues there with Thor, though. Thor. Okay, question with Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, there's like a world tree, and
Yeah.
Thor is on
I
like
know
one
exactly what
part
you're
of it,
thinking,
right?
yeah.
And then so the Guardians aliens are like on another branch or whatever. Like,
No.
how do they explain that? Like, Thor should theoretically go to those like space pubs and stuff we see in Guardians.
Okay, so this is just my theory, but I think that the 9 realms,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Like Asgard is in one realm, and the Earth is in a different realm of the
Right.
9 realms, right? So I think they're actually all in the same universe. They're just really far away from each other.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why you need the Rainbow Bridge to travel
Right.
to and from them, right?
Right.
And so I think the entire Milky Way is in the realm that Earth is in. Is in
Right.
one realm.
Right. But I mean, Guardians is like.
Also-
Guardians has some issues because they straight up call like the humans Terran.
Yeah, so they're in the same realm as Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're in the
So
same
Thor
realm as
potentially knows about these other planets, potentially.
yeah, I
But to
don't know.
him, one realm is just a ninth of the whole picture, you know what I mean?
Right, and he probably only cares about Earth as far as that realm
In terms
goes.
of, yeah,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
that's just my theory. I don't know, they might be interdimensional realms, I don't know.
Well.
So, like, you can't physically, even if you could travel long distances, you couldn't actually get to there. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
I
Which
don't
which
know.
brings us to like what Avengers 4 is gonna be, because how can you? I mean, first of all, the team's gonna have to be huge if there's an Avengers 4.
I think,
And there has to be like a threat greater than Thanos, which is there even anything greater than Thanos? Like freaking Galactus or something?
I don't know. No.
Galactus is more of an X-Men thing, isn't he?
He's actually kind of a Fantastic Four guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he is, yeah. With like Silver Surfer and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know, because these movies are basically like episodes in a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like TV shows, they write it based on how each episode is received.
Mm-hmm.
In the right, there's they don't plan things out too far because they want to see how these episodes pan out.
Right.
You know,
Which
and they only end a show when nobody's watching anymore.
I mean, they've got to have.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I guarantee you, like Avengers 3 Part 2 will probably like beat Avengers 1 as far as box office goes, because you know, like that's
I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
like the second.
Avengers 2 didn't make the same
Yeah,
weekend.
but that's what I'm saying is
They made
Avengers
$20 million
3
less.
is like
It's because-
the big like Avengers 1 was like the culmination of all the movies. Avengers 3 is the culmination of all the movies. We're gonna have everyone in Avengers 3.
The reason why Avengers 2 didn't make as much as Avengers 1 is because the initial like excitement of everyone getting together in a movie was already done in the first one.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying Avengers 3 has that.
Well,
to
also
the
you had the
extreme.
Mayweather Pacquiao fight too.
Was the same day. No, it wasn't.
It was Saturday
So-
night,
Yeah, Saturday night. It's
Yeah,
true.
which is a big movie going
I
time.
managed to
That
watch
is true.
both.
Yeah, but they estimated that
You
40
went on Thursday evening to see Ultron, though.
Yeah.
To be fair.
They estimated that 40 million people watched that fight.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Which
yeah,
I mean,
but how many
that's
that
a
paid
big-
to
that's a-
watch it?
oh, that's a different story. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
They weren't that
Right.
far off, though. Ultron was pretty close, right? Like, Ultron is number 2 behind Avengers.
yeah, mhm.
Right? So, I mean, it's not like they're far off.
It was $20 million less. Yeah,
I don't know if that's a big number or not, actually.
it's
Big numbers are hard.
not. It's like this one made like 187 million.
Okay.
Avengers 1 made 210
Okay.
opening weekend.
Okay.
So
Oh no, it's this. So Avengers 1 broke the record.
Mm-hmm.
It's the number 1 highest grossing
Yeah.
opening weekend of all time.
no.
And Avengers 2, yeah,
It's number
is
2.
the second highest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
biggest
yeah.
opening weekend.
Where it's not that far behind if it's number 2 already. So.
Right. Yeah. So
So that was bigger than like
like-
Titanic or like other like.
yeah,
big
opening
movies.
weekend. Yeah. See, Titanic is still the highest grossing movie of all time if you track how much money it's made
Oh yeah.
total. And that movie went back to theaters for 3D when they converted to 3D.
I love Titanic. That was a good movie.
And that counts.
I'm sure. I mean, well,
You see what I'm saying?
theaters were running technically they were running some of the older Marvel movies and stuff. Like some theaters ran every single Marvel movie up to Avengers 2 and
That
stuff.
was a very select number.
Yeah, but do
That's
those
cool.
count too?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
well.
they count.
Yeah,
I'm
because-
sure when it comes to Avengers 3,
Yeah, if it's a
there's
theater
gonna be
show, it
theaters
counts.
running so
Well, see,
much.
here's the thing. It's a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, which is why I said Avengers 3 Part 2 is gonna be the huge one where it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think so. Because sort of like Hunger Games 3 part 2 is coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Which Hunger Games 3 part 1 made less than Hunger Games 2.
Right, it's the same with the Harry Potter and stuff. There was a part 2 to the last one or something, and that one did really well or
Yeah,
something.
that one was the best grossing movie of the entire series.
Right, and
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
I think the
But
Thanos.
the difference is the universe isn't over.
It's our predicted over as of right now, though. I mean, we don't think it's gonna end, but
no,
I mean,
they have they've said they have a phase 4. They haven't announced movies for it.
right. We
that would
have
be
no
insane.
idea where it's going,
Right.
but that's what I'm saying. If it's the end of the current phase or whatever.
It's the end of this trilogy, but that doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't usually every movie series, once it gets to part 1, part 2, it's over? Harry Potter had its last movie was the part 1, part 2, and it was over. Hunger Games has its part 1 and part 2. I don't think anything's coming after that movie.
Yeah, but the difference is those are actually based off of another work.
Yeah, those actually have stories that are
Like
in
the
it. What
Harry
he's
Potter-
saying is the Marvel universe
Yeah.
doesn't actually end.
It's not based off of they haven't told all the stories or anything.
Shoot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Harry Potter, that was the last book.
So intentionally, Marvel can go on forever.
Yeah, they
with
can
the
just
story.
keep adapting stories.
Dang it.
None of these stories are direct
Infinite money
adaptations.
pockets right here. It's
Yeah.
Called the
Marvel.
Infinity Gauntlet.
And they've already said that they have a phase 4 in mind,
Gosh.
and they're planning for
What
it.
are they thinking? I can't even. I don't know
I know
Marvel
it's
enough to come up with.
I know it's where do you go, but
Do they
I-
just introduce new characters and stuff?
yeah, I mean, you think about it. So this is phase 3 we're going into,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna have Doctor Strange, Black Panther.
We're
Captain-
already getting to the area where it's superheroes that people have not heard of at all.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. I don't think anybody's heard of them.
No.
That's what I'm saying. We're already
Yeah,
at the
we're already in
point
the
where it's
territory.
people do not know these
And they've been a
superheroes because they're stretching
success.
it.
So you got individual franchises feeding into an even bigger franchise. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Successful franchises combined to.
I gotta wonder how successful Ant-Man's gonna be since no one's ever heard of Ant-Man.
But
Yeah. Anyone even gonna go
The
see
most
that?
recent trailer made it look pretty sweet. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
but think
right.
about this. So
I'm
if
not
you,
gonna go see
if
it.
you have a
I
fresh
will.
new set
well, I'll
of
download it.
if you have a fresh new set of characters we haven't seen before, then when you bring all those characters together, then it's like assembling a brand new Avengers.
Right.
Because if you have if Ant-Man does good, Captain Marvel does good, Doctor Strange does good,
Mm-hmm.
then seeing those characters all come together that everyone already likes, and it's I'm going to see these characters that I like come together.
Mhm.
Then it's like a fresh new Avengers.
But sort
And you
of.
breathe life into the
because,
franchise again.
Sort of, because if you went up to someone 15 years ago before all of this started and you said the names Iron Man, Captain America,
No, nobody would know what you're talking about.
I think people do know those names.
They would know.
I knew those
Oh,
names.
oh, yeah, they'd
But
be familiar with the
but
names. Yeah.
the name Black Panther or Ant-Man,
They'd be the heck
people
is that?
don't know those names.
That's true,
So
that's true.
I think it would be it's gonna be
Yeah.
like the Defenders,
Hey,
with Netflix.
Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, though. But they made a bunch of fans.
I
Hey,
mean,
so
I
They
guess.
created a
That's-
bunch of fans.
That's true.
So when is Captain
Which-
America gonna start wearing that mask again?
Never.
Hopefully never.
Which,
He takes
speaking
that
of
off whatever
Guardians
chance
of the
he gets.
Galaxy did not deserve the credit that people gave it.
I think it
movie
was.
not that good.
I think it was
Um,
overrated, but I still think it was good.
I mean, it was solid.
It's the best Star
It wa-
Wars movie since Star Wars.
It was better than the Thor movies, that's for sure, as far as Marvel movies go. But it's not I would say every single Iron Man was probably better than it.
No,
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 is not better than Guardians.
I know you don't like Iron Man 2. I don't know
I
why.
love
I
that,
thought Iron
yeah.
Man 2 was good.
It's not bad. It's just the weakest of the three.
Oh, yeah. But remember when I asked you what you thought of Avengers 2, and I said on a scale of Thor 1 to Captain America 2, we're comparing it to those movies, and I think on a scale, I think all the Iron Man movies are better than Guardians.
Dude, I watched Captain America.
Wait,
2.
I thought in Iron Man 3 he was barely even in the suit.
No, there's a big chunk where he's not. Yeah.
Like I thought Iron Man 3 got low reception because there wasn't that much going on.
People loved Iron Man 3. If
Well,
I
it
recall.
made money because it was the next
Yeah.
movie.
It was
right
the
after
first movie
Avengers.
after Avengers. Yeah.
And so it made $1 billion. Yeah.
Literally
And,
$1 billion.
and Avengers 1 made 1.6 billion. So that's a success.
All right, guys. This is our longest episode yet. We're gonna cut it off right
Where
here.
are we at?
We're probably at like 2:40 right now.
Okay, wow. All right, guys. Well,
Facebook.com/TCOpodcast. What's your
TCO.
What's your YouTube?
Oh, youtube.com/Josiah_Zandu.
I don't have a website.
Twitter.
No.
You don't want people to find you anywhere?
Twitter's for celebrities. Facebook me. My
You're a
name's Austin
celebrity
Minier.
now. You can find him as mutual friends with me. All the links are in the description, and Josiah's gonna put an intro and outro on this one because it's so long. I think we need an intro and outro.
Yeah, it needs to be even longer.
It does. It's true. Anything else we need to say?
No, I think that's everything.
All right, everyone, do your stupid like.
I always give a.
You do, and I always
give
do
a salute.
I always do the finger guns, and then you stand up and do the camera. But Austin, come up with something.
I don't know, man.
Alright, that's
just
it.
wave.
Alright, see you later, guys. Hey, you stole my finger gun thing.
Bye.
Bye, see you later. Bye.